afternoon, football fans, and welcome to the return of 3 and Out right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. My goodness, it's been too long, but here we are, ready and set to rock and roll as we are getting underway for 3 and Out. 8 divisions in 8 days. My goodness, show number 1. It's always so magical every year. Talking all 32 teams with 32 diehards. Getting your thoughts, perspectives, all that good stuff. And of course, having a little bit of fun at the end of every segment where you diehards stick it to them. Telling us how you really feel about those other 3 teams in the division. Well, here we go, and we are off and running. 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. NFC week is officially underway as we get things started in the NFC West. Well, as you know, we start off with the champs, and those Los Angeles Rams were the champions last year. Confetti fell over them and the Bengals. However, it was falling for the Rams as the Bengals left the field. To the victor goes the spoil, correct? Regardless, somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, and well, those Rams won it all last year. So that's the division we will start in. A division that had 3 teams go to the playoffs. How about that? 3, not 1, not 2, but 3. The Cardinals started 7-0. The Niners lost their identity for a little bit and then came out of nowhere. The Rams looked strong pretty much the entire season, and the Seahawks things have gone differently for them in just a few games. My goodness, 4 teams from one division. I don't even think that's legal. I don't think that can happen. But could have made it to the playoffs. I'm just saying, at least the records could have said that. So we are talking to 4 diehards today. It is going to be awesome, and I'm glad you are here with me. All right, y'all, ready and set. We're ready to rock and roll. 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. NFC week starting right now. Welcome, football fans. My goodness, I feel like it's been an eternity since I have been on here talking NFL football. Well, I gotta tell you, I am very, very excited for this season in so many ways. My beloved Las Vegas Raiders look like they actually have a chance. Until, we look at the other 3 teams that are pretty damn strong and realize that. But that's not until next Monday when we're talking AFC West. I also want to see if these Rams can continue this streak. I want to see if Joe Burrow can lead the Bengals to the promised land. I mean, there are so many things, Will the NFC East, I guess, I don't know if they're still considered the powerhouse division of the NFL, but how much longer can they hold that crown when you have divisions like the NFC West and the AFC West who are just packed full of talent? Will the Titans actually win a bowl? Or can they? So many questions to be answered. Will the Jaguars ever be good? Just stuff like that, you guys. So I'm really excited for what's to come this year, and I hope all of you are as well. All right, y'all. 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days is officially underway. We're talking all 32 teams coming up. If you guys did not see, I just went live on TikTok, or posted a TikTok on our brand new IE Sports Radio TikTok. Follow us at IE Sports Radio on TikTok. And of course on IE Sports or IESR vids on, you can hashtag that on Twitter. I'll be putting that up in just a few moments. But we are live, and well, the next week is NFC week. So today we're starting in the NFC West because of the championship Rams. Tomorrow we're talking NFC East. On Wednesday, we'll be talking NFC South, and on Thursday, we're talking NFC North. Next week, on the 25th, we'll be talking AFC course, AFC week. We'll be talking AFC West. Next Tuesday on the 26th, we're talking AFC East. On Wednesday, the 27th, we are talking AFC North, AFC South, and on the 28th, we're talking AFC North. So hopefully I didn't confuse you enough. The schedule's up on 3 and Out. Go ahead and give us a follow at 3 and Out, all spelled out, IESR. You'll see it somewhere on the timeline because I've been tweeting a lot on there lately. So check it out. It's going to be awesome as always, and we're really excited for what's to come. So there are so many great interviews today. I speak to Scott of Valley Sports here on IE Sports Radio, talking about his Cardinals coming up first. Then we bring in the lovely Miss Jess. It was supposed to be Gina, but Jess jumped in out of nowhere. She came off the bench and went to work. But of course, she was ready to rock and roll. Unfortunately, Gina had some sad news. She did make that public, and we mentioned it quite a few times here on the show during these interviews. So first things first, all thoughts and prayers from us here, Cecilia and I, and from the entire IE Sports Radio family. Gina, from our family to your personal family. God bless you guys, and we just hope all the best. But we've got to, of course, say that we have Miss Jess filling in, as awesome as she is, talking Niners. Then we head on over to the Pacific Northwest, talking Seattle Seahawks with the host of our brand new brand new Washington State sports show. It's So Do. Well, actually, we just got a name for it. Respect Our Region, getting underway this Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific time, so he's ready for that. We'll be talking to Art and about his new show and everything coming up later on in this show. And then we have a gigantically long interview talking about those championship Rams with Adrian, all the way from Colorado, diehard Rams fan from Colorado. We've had him on the show several times. I think he was on this segment last year, or on this show, 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. So many great things. And then, of course, so many great interviews. And then, of course, at the end of this all, you will check out my final weigh-in. It is a long 3 hours, you guys. So grab something yummy. If you're listening in pieces, thank you so much for listening in pieces. Hey, if you're going to sit with me for 3 hours, whether you're driving or doing something, working out, wherever, it's a great show. Be ready, you guys. We are certainly excited to get underway. With that said, here we go. You were listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. NFC week is underway, and we're talking NFC West. On the other side of this break, we'll be talking to our very own Scott of Valley Sports. You already know the drill, y'all. We're talking Cardinals coming up next, right here on 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me good. If you like sports, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like comedy, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. If you like a different opinion coming from a different angle, then you like the Wait a Minute Show. So join me Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with your host, Jelani J.B. Bodie. And of course, my man Lopan on the WaitAMinuteShow.com. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Hey, what's up, BS3 sports fans? If you love listening to the BS3 Sports Show, check out the weekend wrap-up every Monday at 12:15 Central Time, 1:15 Eastern, recapping the weekend in sports like you never heard it before. Comedy, interactive chat room, it's a must-listen. Weekend wrap-up on Spreaker.com, part of the X Squad. Check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Sports fans, do you like teams that are tough, cities that are tougher, and fan bases that are passionate about their teams? How about teams that are historic and stadiums that are iconic? Then you belong in Chicago, and you need to check out Chi-Town Weekly. Join me, Adam Kernan, every week as we keep up with all things Chicago sports. Bears, Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, White Sox. We'll cover them all, plus more. The Windy City is always buzzing, and we'll keep you up on all the big games and major stories. So tune in to Chi-Town Weekly every week right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, here we go. It's showtime, y'all. We officially are underway. 8 divisions in 8 days. The first interview of 32 is about to get underway for the NFL, and the first interview of 16 is about to get underway for NFC Week. If you're just tuning in, well, you missed the introduction. But we're ready to rock and roll for the start of 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, NFC West Day, kicking off NFC West Week, and of course, starting it all with day number 1. Well, we are going to hear, as you heard in the introduction, from some awesome fans today. We got Jess talking Niners after this segment. We have Art talking Seahawks after that segment. And we have Adrian talking Rams after that segment. It's going to be a great show, as you heard in the introduction. Well, we're starting things off with a little Scott today. Glad to have him here. Ladies and gentlemen, he, of course, is one of 3, is 1/3 of our Arizona show here on IE Sports Radio. Of course, Valley Sports, and glad to have him here. Of course, Valley Sports with Scotty, Maddie, and C-Dub. Well, check it out, y'all. This is going to be some fun stuff because we're talking about one of the best divisions in football last year, and a division that could certainly be one of the best divisions this year if it just stays how it was last year with the competitiveness. My goodness, it's going to be fun watching these guys go at it, watching these 4 teams go at it, and well, that's why, of course, we're starting off because of the championship of Rams. We start off with the division, with the conference who won it and the division who won it, and well, who was in that conference? We got the Cardinals. So we're starting things off with Arizona. Here we go. So he is 1/3 of our Arizona show here on IE Sports Radio, Valley Sports. He is a diehard Arizona guy, and he is awesome enough to be here for this interview here today. Ladies and gentlemen, to start us off with NFC Week and the NFC West. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Scotty! What's going on, brother? How you doing today, man?
Hey, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, brother, glad to, once again, so the feels
we got to
mutual.
start out with the best in the West over here with Arizona, so
Yeah, hey.
I appreciate you looking at us first.
You're very welcome, man. I had to give you guys something. I mean, you guys, last year, I mean, we'll jump right on into it, man. Last year, my gosh, if the Cardinals weren't, I mean, I don't know if I'd say great, but my goodness, you weren't far away from being pretty damn good. If I'm being real, man, the Rams.
Yeah,
I mean, the Rams
for the first 10 or 11 weeks or so.
Yeah, and then it kind of fell apart. No, absolutely, but the Rams 12-5, Cardinals 11-6, Niners at 10-7, and the Seahawks at 7-10. The crazy thing is all 4 of these teams. I mean, my gosh, the Seahawks were a couple different scores away from somehow being the first division in the NFL to ever. I don't think it's actually possible. But I mean, my gosh, had the Seahawks been a little bit better, I think all 4 teams somehow mathematically could have gotten in. I mean, the NFC West is so freaking competitive. Talk about the new powerhouse division in the NFL. And Scotty, let's go ahead and take a look at last year, man, really quick. Quick little recap, and I'm going to just hand it over to you real quick. Well, not real quick. You can take the floor. But, man, talk about a season last year. The Cardinals start things off. Actually, let me go ahead and put the wrong thing in here. But the Cardinals, man, talk about a season. You guys would start things off with a bang, as you mentioned. Okay, it was such a good start. I mean, there was no way, in my opinion, that the Cardinals we're gonna get derailed, because you guys started off. What was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-0. You were eating everybody for breakfast, and this wasn't just no BS, Scotty. You guys were beating the Titans, okay? The Vikings are so-so, but that was still a damn good game in week 2. Jaguars, and you guys beat the Rams, and you guys beat them pretty handedly. You guys beat the Niners. You guys knocked off Cleveland, which was actually pretty solid. I mean, Houston was Houston, but my goodness. And you guys almost knocked off Green Bay. I mean, where you guys actually lost.
Yeah, where AJ Green should have just turned around in the end zone.
I know.
Blocking.
I'll never forget that. I know, that was crazy. But then you guys kind of just, you lost one. You just swept Frisco. You lose to the Panthers. I couldn't tell you what happened in that game. Seriously, it's just, I don't know who was playing. It was
like, we just don't play well there.
Yeah, it was sad. Then you guys have a two game win streak. Then you drop 3 in a row, win 1, drop another one to Seattle at the end. I don't know. That was crazy. Then you play the Rams, and well, the team that you went 1-1 with in the regular season, they beat you guys pretty handily, 34-11, and that would end the season. Now I'm gonna go ahead and shut up because I've been talking way too much. Scotty, go ahead, brother. Talk about every raw emotion throughout the entire season last year.
I mean, to start things off, going into last season, I knew this team was going to turn some heads. I really liked what they were going to look like on defense, especially bringing in J.J. Watt. But the mediocrity in our secondary didn't concern me too much because I thought the pass rush was going to be there. And it was for the first 7 weeks. But so when they played the Titans that first week, it was just like to all my friends that doubted me, they were just like, dang, I did not see that coming. I was like, I'm telling you, this team is special. And then they played well for the first 7 weeks, but they just kind of fell off at the end there with injuries, especially. Once Kyler Murray got back from that injury, he just didn't look the same, and that seems to be a theme of his, actually. The last couple seasons, when he gets hurt, he doesn't come back the same guy. Does he play scared? I'm not sure. Defenses are definitely reading that offense better by that time of the year. So obviously production just went way down for that. That's what we've been talking about on the show at Valley Sports. But the Cards, or Murray especially, just doesn't look like this guy that starts the year when he plays. So, and that's just kind of indicative of their schedule. If you look at it, they started out hot and they did not finish so hot.
And that's insane, isn't it? Like, seriously, like it just blows my mind. The team. I mean, you guys were the only undefeated team in Week 7. Right? I mean. It looked like
we were ready to win in Week 8. We were right there, knocking on the doorstep with that touchdown pass. But
that was
one of our weakest links is we should be beating teams that we should beat, like Carolina in Arizona. We should be able to handle that, especially when Cam Newton's the starter. I don't think he started. Maybe he didn't start. I can't remember. He played. He got there only 2 touchdowns. And then. Yeah, it just seems Carolina and teams like that, it's just our weakness when we play at an elite level. We just can't get past these teams we should beat. And that's not the sign of an elite team. So once we started losing those games, that's where I was kind of like, not doing good for the playoffs. And we kind of backed our way into the playoffs last year. We didn't even go in on a victory. We lost that week, but some other team lost, so we got in. So that's not how you want to celebrate getting into the playoffs. And then, lo and behold, we get in the playoffs and we don't show up. So this was just a down second half of the season for sure.
It really was, Scotty. I mean, seriously, man, it was a rough go for you guys. Looking at your current roster or your current depth chart, courtesy of OurLads.com, AJ Green is, of course, still there. Randall Moore, we have Marquise Brown, a couple receivers. Andy Isabella, a guy that really quick, Scotty, I don't want to, keep you no longer than we have to tonight, but I thought Andy Isabella was going to be like freaking like this phenom coming into the NFL, and it's kind of crazy after all of his crazy I've seen the video of the string on a ball that he would practice catching one-handed and everything, like when he got drafted a couple years ago. And the crazy thing is, I never even seen after he got drafted, he's just kind of there. I guess I don't watch enough Cardinal games, but he's just. I don't know. I just kind of thought he'd be.
He's kind of an anomaly, really. There was a lot of talk about him, and I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. He fell out of favor with the coaching staff somehow. I doubt it was anything off the field, but they're just not seeing it on the field. And he's not even getting rostered in some games last year. He wasn't even on the eligible the team that shows up for games. But I don't know, man. I would like an answer there somewhere. We're just confused and why we drafted. I think we drafted him over DK Metcalf. So it's like, why do we do this? Why do we draft this guy and we're not using him? So
that's a tough one.
He definitely has wheels. But now we have Rondale Moore, and it just doesn't seem like there's a spot for him on the team anymore.
Yeah, which is crazy to think. I mean, exactly, the addition of Rondale Moore, we'll get to that in a moment. But, I mean, my goodness, I don't know. I thought he was going to be like another Wes Welker, another that kind of player. Another, what's his name?
And that's how the fan base, and I think that's the idea of bringing him in, is just a prototype kind of a Wes Welker. Didn't happen, though. He had the first couple weeks. He had some flashes of brilliance, and then they just fell out of favor with him. Really, it's got to be a playbook thing. He's just not running the right plays or something. Because, like I said, I don't hear any issues off the field, and I don't hear any issues of him not showing up to work. So it's got to be what he's doing at work. So.
Something, and I completely agree. So we take a look at this offensive line: DJ Humphries, Justin Pugh, Rodney Hudson, we miss you in Vegas. I just want to go ahead and say that one more time. Rodney Hudson, we miss you in Vegas because
he might be retiring.
And that's crazy. So I mean, you got to hit that big monster. Will Hernandez, I remember him coming over. Now he started. I mean, that man lost every game his senior year at UTEP. That's crazy. They went 0-12, but he went and got drafted. Played for the Giants. He really went crazy, right? He didn't do so well, I guess, for the Giants. I don't know what happened, but he ends up over here. I didn't even know that until I saw it right now. But you got him, Calvin Beecham. I mean, you guys have a pretty solid offensive line, in my opinion. Zach Ertz is there doing his thing. Kyler Murray is the guy that, I mean, come on now, we need to see it. You're the guy. You're the guy. We need to see a little more now, in my opinion. He's solid, but James Conner's solid. And then on the defensive side, man, you got J.J. Watt. I mean, you guys have you run the 34, so J.J. Watt, heck of a nose guard with Fotu, Jack Allen. Just overall, man, Devon Kennard also, I believe, came from, he was over in New York with the Giants. He was a former USC linebacker, so I know him well because I'm a SC guy. So Budda Baker, I'm of course, a Pac-12. Damn it, Scotty, a Pac-12, not a Big Ten guy, stupid USC and UCLA. Okay, don't get me on that. Don't get me on that right now. I'm going to stop. But anyway, Budda Baker, that pissed me off. Anyway, that was annoying. But yeah, Budda Baker, I seen him at Washington. I mean, the guy was amazing, at least from a lot. Byron Murphy Jr., I remember, seeing him get drafted and everything, I believe. I mean, overall, you guys have a pretty solid squad, man. I mean, we're gonna get into free agency right now, but at the moment, with what we see, I mean, what are you liking about this roster at the moment?
What do I like? Offensively, I like, until the whole Hudson possible retiring thing, but as far as the offense goes, I actually like where we are this year. I know last year when D-Hop went down, the team just didn't look good, didn't look the same, and now we're going to start the first 6 games without him. So I think we're in a better position now. Zach Ertz is going to be more familiar with the playbook than he was. Having that whole offseason to work on the playbook is just going to go. I think it's going to be tremendous for him. But he filled in nicely last year. Let's be honest. But he was only in for certain packages on offense because how it's kind of difficult running Cliff's offense. So for him to learn it all in that second half of the season, he looked really good. There's no complaints to him. So I'm just excited to see him back out there. That's about it. Like with the addition of Hollywood, that's a big, in my opinion, and I can't wait for this to come out. But Christian Kirk, he's upgrading over Christian Kirk. I like that.
Agreed.
People say that Hollywood could drop the ball, but I would say Murray is more accurate. So maybe he wasn't getting the most accurate passes. So we'll see. We'll see about that with the new quarterback throwing at him. I'm really excited about this offense moving forward. The defense, not so excited now. The only guy we really picked up in the offseason actually died in a car accident, which is Gladney. So that secondary is really, really thin right now. We're gonna be asking a lot out of rookies and young guys to prove it, guys. But just like last season, we don't need the best cornerbacks out there. I think if we put enough pressure with that defensive line, which I think is going to be pretty good this year, especially Zayvon Collins being totally let go. It's his defense to run now. I mean, he's not the captain or anything, but it's his show in that spot. And then you got Isaiah Simmons on the other side. They're actually toying having, I think it was Simmons, playing a little bit of safety too. So this gets some different looks out there. So if that defense can create havoc on the inside against their run game and not give the quarterback enough time to throw, we don't need elite cornerbacks out there. So I think that's what they're running with again this year. Not so successful last year, but I'm hoping for a different outcome this year.
Hey, I'm sure you are, man, and I think all Cardinals fans are. You guys had it, and then he's kind of faded away. You're right. So taking a look here at free agency, let's take a look at the key departures first, courtesy of OverTheCap.com. Chandler Jones is going over to my Raiders. I was a pretty big blow. You got a solid player there.
Big loss.
Yeah, seriously, man. Jordan Phillips heading on over to the Bills. You guys have Jordan Hicks.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, just some of these departures. I mean, we have Jordan Hicks heading to the Vikings. You just mentioned it right now. Christian Kirk, he's heading to the Jaguars. Max Garcia, you guys got a lineman heading on over to the Giants. So I mean, overall, Chase Edmonds to the Dolphins. A couple of departures, but man. You guys have retained a lot of great players, and then you picked up a few that were pretty solid. Will Hernandez, I feel, is really going to help out in that offensive line from the Giants. Nick Vigil, I think he's pretty solid from the Vikings and the linebacker there. Stephen Anderson, tied in from the Chargers. I don't know, what role he's going to play, but you guys, added him. Some players here. Kingsley Keke, I believe, as well, also from the Packers, and Jesse Lemonier, I don't want to butcher his name, but from the Lions. Overall, man, you guys had some, like I said, some pickups, some losses in a sense. What can you give us about that? What were your thoughts on free agency this year?
Well, it was pretty stagnant for the most part. We didn't actually pick up a lot of actual free agents. It was mostly out of trades and who we've drafted. Getting McBride in the second round is going to be huge, I think, for the Cardinals. I think they're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets this year, and maybe run Murray a little more out of the center, not so many shotgun. That has been probably the weakest link in the Cardinals, especially on offense. Predictability. If you can put it down to one word, and why we failed last year. We just became way too predictable because we were always in the shotgun. And there's only so many plays you can run out of the shotgun. The running back can't run full speed downhill when he's in the shotgun. He kind of gets the ball in the backfield and has to stutter for a second and look for the hole. Doesn't really work later in the season. That's about it. Did you have any specifics on who you wanted to talk about that came in?
Oh, not really. I mean, it's kind of, at the moment, I think that was pretty much it. I mean, stagnant's a great word for it. Not too many huge losses, not too many huge acquisitions, I guess. I mean,
they're basically running the same team back this year. They're going to tweak some things on how they run the offenses, like I said. But I think for the most part, personnel-wise, they just upgraded certain people, but playing those same positions. So, you took out Christian Kirk, you added a Hollywood. Obviously an upgrade right there. Christian Kirk has never had a 1,000-yard season, but he's paid a heck of a lot more than what we're paying Hollywood this year. So that's a huge benefit.
No, seriously, it is. And so let's take a look at and go ahead and get into the draft here, Scott. We have here no first rounder, but man, solid pickup.
Well, we look at Hollywood as our first rounder.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I'll take that, man. He's coming on in, and yeah, great first rounder in my opinion. So Trey McBride, Colorado State young man here coming in. Pretty cool here, seeing this guy come in. Definitely another weapon on the offense. You guys in the second round. In the third round, you guys, you went to my backyard over here in San Diego. San Diego State, Cameron Thomas, defensive end.
Cam Thomas.
Solid
We're
athlete.
actually really excited about him.
Oh, he's a monster, man. I'm so glad you guys picked him up.
Modeled his game after J.J. Watt, actually, so this is a perfect environment for him to learn. Not just on the field, but how he is in the locker room. He's just that kind of presence in the locker room. We got two outstanding individuals now on that defensive line, so really excited about him.
That's exciting. See, that's really cool, man. I didn't even know about that. That's really cool. I mean, Mike John, I don't butcher his name. Sanders, defensive end out of Cincinnati. Keontae Ingram, running back out of USC. Of course, he's a guy that I watched for a while. Lectus Smith, guard out of Virginia Tech. I mean, it's a couple of guys. I mean, Valdosta State, hey, FCS school here. Christian Matthew, corner. Jesse Lokita, a linebacker out of Penn State. I mean, really, that's really it. I mean, these are later round guys, but Marquise Hayes, guard out of Oklahoma. Overall, what did you think, Scott, about your guys' draft this year?
I loved it, actually. I think we filled some big needs. We still have some really big needs that we need filled, especially in the cornerback spot. But I think offensively, especially adding McBride, this and Hollywood being our first round, this is just going to be a huge, I think, upgrade for us offensively. We were a menace when we were on all cylinders last year. I think this is going to be at a different level. We did not reach our full potential even in the first 7 weeks. It was we didn't command control of every game. And I think that's what they're trying to do offensively. And if they do that successfully, I think that's just going to be easier on the defense. Usually it works the other way around, but I just think they're just going to have the pedal to the metal offense. You got to keep up with them. Much like how the Rams are pretty successful, but they do have an awesome defense there. So.
And that's pretty interesting stuff, man. I'm telling you, this is definitely a solid team you guys got, and you guys added some more solid players to it. So let's take a look at this year moving forward, Scott. We have here, looks like the Cardinals, well, the NFC West looks like they're playing the AFC West. That should be fun. Of course, the division my team is in, and some pretty solid teams over there too this year. And then I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is the AFC West, and it looks like the NFC South, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Yeah, we got Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa, Atlanta, Carolina, and the Saints. And then the outliers are, let's see here, the other teams are just there. Minnesota, out of the NFC North. You guys have here, let's see, who else? I think there's one more. That's just, Philadelphia, of course, out of the NFC East. Overall, looking at the schedule right now, how confident are you? What are you thinking? Do you think you guys can have another solid season how you did last year? Maybe better. I mean, I hate to say worse, but maybe a little worse. I mean, I don't know. With what you see right now, what we just talked about, everything. Do you think this team can either duplicate or do better this year? Or I mean, what do you think personally?
I think they will. If I can just down to one word, it'll be balanced. I think it's going to be a lot more balanced. We're not going to win our first 7 games again. We're going to have a couple losses. I've already looked at the schedule, and we ran through it on our show on Valley Sports week by week what we thought the wins and losses were. And when we were said and done with it, I had them at 11-6. So that's exactly what they finished last year. So I guess they're going to be same record as last year, but I think it's going to be more balanced. It'll be a lot more confidence rolling into the playoffs.
And you know what? That's awesome. I believe you guys have a very good shot at the playoffs. Solid team, man. I really think you guys have what it takes to get there again next year, and this time further than the first round, I think. I mean, you have a solid team, man. I don't think any of these 4 teams can really get there. But the Cardinals, you guys have. I think you have a little more. So with that said, all right, Scott. Well, this is always the fun part, man. I mean, it's always all fun, but oh my goodness, this last part, just so you know, coming up, Jess is going to talk crap about the Cardinals. Adrian is going to talk crap about the Cardinals. And just so you know, Also, our other fan, Art, is going to talk crap about the Cardinals. So, it's a little segment we like to call Stick It To 'em. And, you just talked about the Cardinal season. You said what you thought about, what they could be doing this year, what you think they're going to be doing. And, well, like I said, every division has the team you love and three others you love to hate, and then the three others that love to hate you back. So, with that said, Scott, this is a little segment we like to call Stick It To 'em. You can either be nice and respectful, you can be mean and ugly, or you can be a mesh of both, balanced, whatever you want to. But go ahead, you have 2 minutes on the clock. Talk about what you think those other three teams are going to do this season. Once again, 2 minutes on the clock. Scott, stick it to them.
Well, I would love to stick it to the Rams, but I can't. They humbled us last year in more than one game. So I'm not going to stick it to them. I'll give them the respect that they've earned. Until we can beat them, they've got that. So the Rams, I do actually pick them to win this division this year because I don't think they've lost a step. I think they're actually better, but we'll see how that turns out. If the Cardinals can do what they can do, they can go toe to toe with them. Now the Niners, they look really. That defense is just insane. Still, I just can't get over how good that defense is. If they got something, Garoppolo, man, you just get rid of him. That experiment should be over. Lance, who's their backup there? Yeah, I know you gave me the 2 minutes, but you know that team better than me. Who's their back? Is it Lance?
Behind Lance right now. Believe it or not,
behind Garoppolo.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I think it's Jimmy G right now. But if I take a quick look here at the depth chart of the Niners, let's take a look. I looked at them earlier today. Looks like we have Trey Lance, of course.
Trey Lance, yeah.
Jimmy G.
Yeah. I like Trey Lance. I like him a lot.
And
that's kind of the future of the quarterbacks right now. What do you got?
Looks like we have Nate Sudfeld and Brock Purdy. Okay, yeah. Who are they?
Yeah, no. It's. I think it's Lance's show. Hopefully to lose. If that happens, that's a really scary team on offense. That Lance dude's just so big. And then you've got the Seahawks. Who's their quarterback? I don't. Is it Jimmy Clausen or someone? That's not good. So they're going to be bottom dwellers this year. Love who the pieces on that team with DK Metcalf. They just need a quarterback. I think they made a poor decision getting rid of their star quarterback and stayed with the head coach there. I know it was one or the other, but I think they made the wrong choice. That's about it. Good luck to you guys. I really think the Cardinals are second in the division again, going into the playoffs. Unless something happens to you Rams, if you guys just fall off this year because everyone's gunning for you, you never know.
Loving it, man. Great stuff. Hey, it was all good a little bit over. No issue, man, because you definitely had a great stick it to them. I loved it. Wonderful stuff. And respectful yet fire at the same time. I love it. Hey, I'll take it, man. You're a class act all the way. And well, though tonight I know you were supposed to be, doing the show tonight, but it's all good. I know I'm excited for you guys to come back next week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not heard Valley Sports, man, awesome show. These guys really put a lot into this, and it's such a good show. So with that said, man, final plug here. Absolutely, man. You guys do amazing. So, Scott, final stuff, man. Where can all these diehard Cardinal fans find you? Where can they find Valley Sports? Anything else you'd like to plug? Any other things you do, man? Anything like that? The floor is yours.
Well, right now we're just on Twitter. You can find us where we stream on Spreaker, and I don't know. We just have a lot of fun on that show. It's more of a conversation base. That's why in our commercial we talk about join the conversation. That's what it's all about. We're just there. We watch the chat room. If anybody says anything, we talk about that. So everybody's including that. If I can just have one more minute, I just hope that the Phoenix Suns can, man, if they can avoid their Titanic moment. But that's the biggest thing about Arizona sports. You gotta always be ready for that Titanic moment, and I was ready for that last year with the Cardinals. Because that was just the biggest ship. Wasn't going to sink, and then guess what happened? We suck. Every season. So that's about it, man.
Isn't it something? I mean, hey, but it's all right, man. Keep your
It's
head
always
up.
something in Arizona. Always something in Arizona.
But hey, keep your head up. You guys, you did incredible tonight. I know the Cardinals are going to do incredible this year, man. I'm really excited for this. And, well, there it is, man. He started us off. So, once again, thank you so much, Scott, for stopping by yet again, man. Appreciate you for giving the time here tonight. And
I'm happy to be here, man.
Hey,
yeah.
It was awesome. This is actually the last interview of Sunday night. It was recorded last night. The other three interviews that you're about to hear right now, everybody, recorded earlier in the day today. So Scotty and the Cardinals are up first, but kind of funny. So I kind of, already know the rest of the show. But stay tuned, y'all. It's going to be some fun coming up. But Scott, with that said, man, appreciate you. Thank you so very much for everything. Take care. God bless you, family guy, family man. Hopefully, I hope you have a wonderful week, and definitely look forward to having you back on the show, man.
Anytime, man.
All right, take care with it. All righty, guys. That will do it for Scott, man. Great dude. Can we give him an applause? Awesome stuff, as always. We got all kinds of fun stuff coming up for you guys today, man. I'm telling you, we got Jess coming up next with the 49ers. We got Art coming up with the Seahawks. And, oh, yes, we have those Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams coming up with Art Hernandez. Stay tuned, y'all. It's going to be a fun show. You are listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, day number 1, NFC West Day here on NFC Week, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Were you listening to a great game on USRN, but then the Wi-Fi crashed in the final seconds? Or do you simply want to listen to the best calls we here at USRN have to offer? Well then, you need to go check out our Audio Boom page. It holds a collection of our best calls that you don't want to miss. How do I get there, you ask? You can download the Audio Boom app and look up Ultimate Sports Radio, or simply go to audiobook.com/Ultimate Sports Radio. And as always, thanks for listening and making USRN one of the most talked about sports networks on Mixler.com.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Here we are. Day number 1. 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. NFC West Day. We are rolling along. Just finished up with the Cardinals. And, well, here we are going on into Ninerland. My goodness, it started off with a bang. We have 16 teams in the NFC. And, well, 1 down, 15 to go. And to chop off another team here, joining me all the way from the East Coast. You have seen her numerous times. Like, if I had a nickel for every time she's been on IE Sports Radio, I could afford a pretty nice freaking car right now. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, glad to have her here for her zillionth time and to talk all about her Niners, previewing the season, talk a little bit about last season, all that good stuff. She is, of course, once again, all the way from the East Coast. She is IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer! And she, of course, is just die-hard Niner, ladies and gentlemen. Jess! What's going on, Jess? How you doing today?
I'm doing well, Larry. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Glad to have you, and I'm doing my very best here, and we're just, having a good old time shooting the breeze and getting ready to talk some Niner football. So, of course, this interview recorded yesterday on Sunday, this show being aired here on Monday. So, let's do the dang thing and talk about these Niners. So, last year, number one thing, you always bring the fire in the primetime face-offs. I don't think we can go any further without saying that, my goodness, you put these people in their place. I mean, you certainly have a knack for those primetime face-offs, and we're going to have you in plenty more of those this year. But, you believe in your team. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, your belief goes so far because all last season was something to watch. You finished the season at 12-8. Couple of good wins to start off the season, and then the Niners nosedived. My goodness. We're not talking a 2-game skid. We're talking a 4-game skid. Finally pick yourselves up in Chicago. Then you drop one to the Cardinals. And then you kind of go on this winning spree. It was only 3 games, but my goodness, it lifted you guys high. You drop another one to Seattle entering December. You guys win a... Gosh, if it was a thriller, I mean, this was a thriller for sure, okay? In Cincinnati, you pull one out, in overtime over the Bengals, the team that would eventually go to the bowl. You had a great victory over Atlanta. Then you drop another one to the Titans, and it's like, what? Who is this team? I mean, I feel like the identity wasn't even reached until the playoffs because we didn't know who you were all year. We didn't know. At least I didn't know because then you beat the Texans, of course, and this was the game. Week 17 or week 18. I'm not a fan of this extra week, but is what it is. But week 18, my gosh, this was a great day. I guess that's why week 18 is so popular. Week 18 was a great day of football. Not only because that Sunday night, my Raiders would knock off the Chargers in overtime to go to the playoffs, but your Niners would knock off the Rams in LA in overtime. And it was an afternoon game. It was a special game. You guys, I don't know if that was decided for you to go in the playoffs. Maybe it was, I think. But you guys were in. You guys got in. And boy, did you take advantage of that. Knocked off the Cowboys, the Packers. And by the way, these are both on the road. Then you come down to LA once again. And the same way you guys won by 3 points just a few weeks prior, you lost by 3 points, and that would be the end of the road in the NFC Championship game. I mean, the emotions ran high, I'm sure. With a primetime face-off, I mean, I think that says everything. You guys can go check that out on YouTube, that primetime face-off with Jess and Gina, and I think you guys took on Spuds and I think Josh. But you guys, it was an amazing primetime face-off, and it was an amazing game. At the end of the day, the Rams finished 12-5. You guys were 10-7, third place in this NFC West. Talk about a powerhouse division. The Seahawks were even a tough team, and they were at the rear of the division at 7-10. So the Cardinals 11-6. I mean, what a run for you guys. I'm going to go ahead and shut up now, but just give us every raw emotion from the start of the season all through the playoffs and until that tough loss that ended the season in January.
Well, Larry, I think one word to describe last season is wow. Because it was definitely a roller coaster ride. Being a 49ers fan, you just go through all the emotions. The anger, the sadness, the excitement. But we really kicked it into gear with the Bengals game. We're clicking on all cylinders at the right time. We weren't decimated by injuries at that time. And the goal was just to stay healthy and keep moving. And then, and we were stacking wins. I mean, the Cowboys, the Packers, we came up short in the NFC Championship game, but you know what? They were counting us out this past season. So to make it as far as we did was great. I mean, I wish, we were Super Bowl bound because I think we would have really taken care of the Bengals. But you know what? All the excitement is coming into the season.
Agreed. It really this was just a roller coaster. It really was, as you said. And honestly, just having you on all those primetime face-offs, especially throughout the playoffs. I mean, you guys were just you put it on. You made it happen, and it was such a good season for you guys. So now we're gonna get into this year. I'll tell you, the Niners. I mean. This team never ceases to amaze in different ways. I mean, you guys have the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. You had a couple of spurts there. The 2000 teens, if you will, are getting close to that. I mean, the famous Harborough Bowl. Then you guys had a nosedive. My gosh, you guys lost like everybody. And then it's like, just when you think the Niners were dead in the water and had going to be in a long rebuild period, wrong. Here you guys come again. And it's like, I wasn't even expecting you guys to be that great this last past season. And here you are, NFC Championship game. I mean, it's incredible to see this franchise do what they've done, and hey, I mean, it's no wonder you're a fan. You know, you've known the greatness of these guys, and this franchise just keeps on impressing. So even when you don't think they will, so let's take a look at free agency and talk a little bit about what was going on this year. So some key departures, of course, we can take a look. DJ Jones heading over to the Broncos. We had Laken Tomlinson, I think this is pretty big. He's a solid guard for you guys. Heading on over to the Jets. Rasheed Mostert, you guys leaned on him a lot last year. Well, he's now a Dolphin. So, I mean, just a lot of, some departures. And then there was some pretty big pickups. You guys would go on and sign Kerry Hyder, the edge rusher out of Seattle. I thought he was actually a pretty good athlete. He will keep. Yeah,
he was with us 2 years ago, and then he was in Seattle last year, so he's back.
And then he's back. See, that's awesome. So, I mean, really, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna let you have the floor. I mean, go around ahead, Jess. You guys had some pretty big pickups, some key departures. Go ahead and talk about this offseason for you guys, or at least for free agency. We'll get to the draft momentarily. But what did you think about this year in free agency? Who's gonna suck to leave, and who's gonna play a big part coming in?
It sucked that Laken Tomlinson went off to the Jets. DJ Jones went to Denver, and even K'Wan Williams went out to Denver as well. But you know what? I think we did what we needed to do. We signed Charvarius Ward from the Chiefs. I think that's like a huge impact already because our secondary for years, even pre-Kyle Shanahan, even Jim Harbaugh, era, like our secondary has been a problem. Now I believe we have like 16, 17 defensive linemen, and we really upped our special teams. We have a new special teams coordinator. I mean, we signed Oren Burks, linebacker from the Packers, Ray McLeod. He's a wide receiver, but a good return specialist. So I think we amped up a lot of the position groups, even at the depth chart, really.
No, you did, honestly, and it was. I'll tell you right now, it was a roller coaster. So this past year, of course, we have. I gotta throw this out there. Jess, what is the deal with Deebo Samuel right now? What is happening?
I know it seemed like it was a circus, but I seem to think that he just sought out the right advice and the right people. I know Trent Williams, he's went to Trent Williams, and Trent Williams, a seasoned vet, has, pretty much told him, like, show up, so he came to mandatory minicamp. He didn't practice, but he was running on the sideline. So I think that's a good start. I mean, he has an awesome relationship with Kyle Shanahan. How could you not? The guy is just great. But he, I think anything that this isn't something that can't be fixed. And that's why communication is huge in all aspects of life, even sports. But it's something that can be fixed. And I think that, he gets his money. I mean, he's a Swiss Army knife. He really is. And the added pieces that we have, even, I know we'll get to the draft, but even, drafting Danny Gray and, to take the top off the defenses, there's a lot of help that we have now. So I think that, all the dust has settled, and I think we're going to, we'll see an extension sometime soon, I hope.
I hope so too. He was great as a Niner. I want to see him stay there. The guy is, you're right, Swiss Army knife. It's true. He does everything. That guy, I mean, as I always say, Deebo Samuel's the guy that you can tell him to go line up at right guard, and he's like, well, all right. I mean, he's just that guy. Like, he's just talented, and it's like he has that mindset of where, like, I don't care where you put me, I'm going to go full speed, and I think he's just great at that. So, I mean, I know I was a little, out there with guard, but I'm just saying the guy is a solid athlete. All right, so he's just that. To me, he seems like the yes coach, no coach kind of guy, and I know it was a little bit of a something a little odd going on in the off season, but yeah, guys retained him, and everything's good. So, with that said, let's go ahead and talk about this darn draft. So the Niners had, I mean, really, if I could get my honest opinion, like without any kind of bias, because, Jess is cool and all that, I thought you guys had a pretty solid draft in my opinion, but there is one little bias, and I can't help it because I'm an SC guy. No first round pick, but the second round, man, you guys picked up Drake Jackson. This guy, I loved watching him play at SC. SC hasn't been a solid team for a while now. It's been very irritating. Now we're going to the Big Ten. I'm even more irritated with that. But overall, this is I think, a pretty damn good pickup. This guy he's a solid athlete. I don't know if he'll be a day one starter, but I do think he's going to maybe, he's going to get his reps. I think this is going to be he's a good athlete. Darion Davis-Price, running back out of LSU, solid player there. Danny Gray, wide receiver out of SMU. I mean, really, you guys picked up some solid pieces, even in the later rounds. Will these guys make the team? We'll see. Hopefully they do. If not, practice squad type guys. But regardless, I think you guys have a solid draft, really. And I think a lot of these guys can come in and really make a difference as early as day one, depending on who we're talking about. So what were your thoughts, though, Jess, on this draft? What did you think?
I agree with you. I thought we did have a solid draft. I know a lot of people like to go for the big names, like, oh, we should have drafted this one and this one. Mm-hmm. But, the one thing with Kyle and John is that we've hit tremendously in the late rounds. I do like the pick of Drake Jackson in the second round. I like the Ty Davis-Price, the running back.
Yeah.
Even Samuel Womack, the cornerback out of Toledo. And of course we had Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, the quarterback out of Iowa State.
Yeah.
Showing him a little love. But I'm excited for Danny Gray, wide receiver from SMU. I just think that now that our QB1, Trey Lance, will be in there, it's just all the possibilities of this offense now, and I just, I can't wait to see it all come together.
I'm right there with you. And yeah, Trey Lance, he's getting his shot. You guys have a pretty solid team. I mean, my gosh, I love to see what we have here. Trey Lance is officially, it seems like he's officially the starter. Trent Williams, you got a monster there. The offensive line still looks pretty good. McGlinchey is getting better and better, I think. I mean, really, this has become a very, I think it's become a very elite team. Bosa, Kinlaw, Armstead, Ibukum. I mean, really, this team has come a long way in a short time. Really, there's nothing more to say, but how this team can just put it all together. This could be a very special season, maybe even a bowl if put together, to its perfection or near perfection. So, moving into,
I agree.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree. I mean, even when we moved Eric Armstead inside, I mean, he's just been like a key part to the defensive line. I know, there are still people out there that say, oh, we should have never, traded away DeForest Buckner, blah, blah, blah. But Eric Armstead has really done a great job. And, Javon Kinlaw is looking sharp. He's coming back from injury. He seems to be all set and ready to go. So it's going to be exciting.
No, it really, really is. And yeah, you're good, Jess. I mean, this is all Niner talk. So I love it. I'm eating it up, and I think this is going to be a special season for you guys. And I don't know. We might see honestly, it's hard to say that well, maybe not hard to say, but I'll tell you, I don't think we should be so surprised if we get another Niner Ram NFC Championship. I mean, seriously, it's a possibility. I mean, two solid teams, and man, I mean, we'll see if
that would be cool. I mean, whether it's in Santa Clara or whether it's in Levi South. I mean, we take over no matter what. So we'll be ready to roll.
Levi South. I mean, hey, there's tons of Niners down here in SoCal, so I can't disagree with that. So, with that said, let's talk about this season, Jess. My gosh, it looks like you guys have the AFC West this year. I see the Raiders on there. I see the Chiefs, the Denver Broncos, the Chargers. This is certainly not a division to overlook. The AFC West has gotten amazingly good over the last couple of seasons, and man, this is going to get better, it seems like, or hopefully it does, as a Raider fan, but that should be, a tough season to roll through with those guys. And I believe you guys have, if I'm not mistaken, taking a look here at the schedule, courtesy of ESPN.com, looks like you have the NFC South. I see the Saints, the Saints, the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Bucks. So, looks like it's AFC West and NFC South. In your few outliers, you have the Chicago Bears from the NFC North, and who else? Oh, in Washington, you guys have the Commanders from the NFC East. So, what do you think? Looking at the schedule here, what are you looking at, Jess? Give us a realistic view of what you think your guys can do within these 18 weeks.
Well, the AFC West really became strong all at once, I feel. I feel like they just became the dominant, division. I mean, the NFC West, I feel, will always be, somewhere in that category. But, the AFC West, it's going to be hard, but I think we match up pretty well. I mean, I actually have us going 14-3 and losing to the Cardinals, Chargers, and Bucks. That's. I'm always confident in my team. Some people may say it's not realistic, but I believe it is, and I think our quarterback change this week is, this season is the reason.
I got to ask you that. I love how you said it, and you've laid it out so well. Cardinals, Chargers, and Bucks. Okay, I can see why you would say the Chargers, because honestly, even as a Raider fan, my gosh, the Chargers look good. I mean, seriously, they look good. So that's a big possibility. I can totally see that. The Bucks, it's Tom Brady. I'm just saying that's a possibility too. They're a solid team. They're the Buccaneers, and I get that. But the crazy thing is the Seahawks, it's a division rivalry, even if they may not be 100% to par right now, but it's a division rivalry, and you're like, nope, we're going to sweep them. You see the Rams on there, and you're like, yeah, they may be defending Super Bowl champs, and they may be, a pretty solid team, but, we're going to sweep them too. And then there were the Cardinals. They were good last year. They were a playoff team. They finished ahead of you guys. But it's funny because you say the Cardinals. Looks like you said you're going to go 1-1 with them based off of your 14-3. What gave you that, Jess? I'm curious. What gave you the Cardinals?
Well, we lost to a Colt McCoy-led Cardinals team last year. And the division games are always tough. But I also see, us sweeping the Rams like we usually do. Seattle's really went down the drain. And then there's the Cardinals. I mean, I think that they're gonna do really well again, just to tank as usual. But I think that's gonna be one of our division losses.
That's a bold statement. of course, with winning those are the 14 games. But the crazy part is it's bold, but it's not so bold because, I mean, the Niners are right up there. I think the Niners are certainly a Super Bowl caliber team along with a few others, So, I mean, just depending on how it's all put together this year, once again, I can totally see that actually happening. So, what a great take on that, and my goodness. So, all right, Jess, it's time for everybody's favorite segment here. This is a fun one. Why? Because, my gosh, you're Jess. It's the NFC West, and you don't hold back. So this is gonna be fun. So
that's right, I don't.
You kind of already stepped into the territory, but let's do it. It's time for Stick It To 'Em. Now, you know how this goes. You have the other 3 teams in the division. You kind of already touched on it, but here in these 2 minutes, you have 2 minutes on the clock. Let us know how you think the other 3 teams in your division are going to do this year, and you can also tell us how you really feel about them. Jess, you have 2 minutes on the clock. Stick it to them.
Well, the Rams are going to have a Super Bowl hangover. I don't think they're going to do much. And like I just said a few minutes ago, we're going to sweep them this year anyway. Seattle, Drew Lock, good luck. The Cardinals, the little squirrel, Kyler Murray, good luck. The Niners are coming this year. We're definitely coming, and we're coming for everybody. And I think we have a little chip on our shoulder from the NFC Championship game. So you know what, like Rams, enjoy your Super Bowl trophy. You won't see one for a while because it's our time, it's our turn. The guys in this locker room under, Coach Kyle Shanahan, they believe, and we all do, the faithful, we all believe. And, we're going to right the ship. We're going to get this right. Even if we release Jimmy Garoppolo and he wounds up being a shit hawk, we still got their number. We'll be good to go.
Just as always, my goodness, it only took a minute and like 6 seconds, and you went through it, you said it. I'm telling you, you just hit it hard. So you know what? I love it. I think it is amazing what the Niners are doing and what they've done, and I am so excited for this season to see what they can do, and especially for you guys. I know the Niner faithful you guys are quite the fan base. So there'll probably be a lot of smiles on the Niner fans this year, including you. So we're going to see how it all goes. But I just got to say, once again, thank you so much, Jess. You have been great as always. Final plugs, all these diehard Niner fans out there, where can they find you? Anything else you'd like to share, let us know.
You can find me on Twitter at JM41484. Also on a podcast with a few other guys. We're called the Always Faithful Show. We have a good faithful huddle, good panel. We talk 49ers every Wednesday at 9 Eastern. You can find us on YouTube. And I would also like to say thank you to IE Sports Radio, and especially you, Larry. Sending me a DM in 2019 to ask me to come on to debate for my wonderful Niners, and really took me out of my comfort zone. And I'd like to thank you. I'm forever grateful for you guys. Go Niners.
Hey, we're forever grateful for having you on the show and giving us the content. This is amazing. I'm telling you. So it goes. It's mutual, very mutual, Jess. So thanks again, you guys. We appreciate you. We also just want to know, let you guys know, of course, this. We were going to have Gina on, unfortunately, due to just unfortunate circumstances, as I will also mention, because the Rams interview was recorded earlier this morning. Of course, this is Sunday. It is the last interview to air on the show on Monday, but I did, Gina and I did talk during that time. Adrian sent his best wishes and prayers and thoughts. And that's coming from a Rams fan to a Niner, of course. Gina, when he started off, that was just awesome. So I can't wait for you guys to hear that coming up at the end of the show. And same thing here, as this was supposed to be Gina's segment. Glad to have Jess here, of course, as well. But yeah, just all thoughts and prayers to you, Gina G. And we're so glad that the Niner faithful are so awesome and faithful like Jess, to where we can just ask Jess, and she was like, sure, and filled right on in. So thank you for that, Jess. We really appreciate you for being
no problem. And if I could just add, Larry, Gina, my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family.
Absolutely. Right there with it. Right there with you guys. So thanks again. Thank you for that. Thanks for all of your great stuff as always, Jess. And we look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks again, and we will have you on the show back very, very, very soon.
Sounds awesome. I can't wait.
Hey, same here. Take care, Jess. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. Wonderful rest of your week. Take care. God bless. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. You too, Larry. Take care.
All right, y'all. That was Miss Jess. Got to give her a big hand. Great segment, as always, with her. And, well, we have finished 2 teams now, and we are off to the Seahawks. All right? From Santa Clara, from the Bay, on up north to Seattle. Once again, you were listening to 3 and Out, 8 Divisions in 8 Days, day number 1. NFC West Day, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Hey USRN fans, do you have a product or company you're trying to promote? Look no further. USRN is teaming up with small local businesses trying to establish themselves via online promotion. Let us know if you're interested. Email us at usrnradio@gmail.com to learn more.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome back, football fans. Well, here we are, chugging along, day 1 of NFC Week here on 3 and Out, 8 Divisions in 8 Days. We talked Cardinals, we talked Niners, and, well, the third team of the day, we are talking Seahawks. My goodness, the only team to not make the playoffs out of the NFC West last year. I mean, they were damn near good enough to actually do it, which, if that ever happened where all 4 teams are like above 9 wins, or, I mean, I don't know how with all these new games now and everything, it's a possibility, but I don't know how the NFL would address that. I mean, I guess one division doesn't get in. I have no idea. But the Seahawks were the rear of a very strong division last year and had a few more things that had gone right for Seattle, they would have found themselves in. So instead, the power, and in my opinion, the new powerhouse division of the NFL, this NFC West, instead, what did we get? The Cardinals getting second, not getting to the NFC Championship, but the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers, 2 teams from this division, and it wasn't even 1 and 2. It was 1 and 3 that got all the way to the NFC Championship game, and wouldn't you know it, the Rams would ultimately win that game and go on to win the Super Bowl. So I think that says a little something about how tough this NFC West is. Ladies and gentlemen, here to talk all about these Seattle Seahawks. Glad to have him here. He actually just took the reins of our new Washington show here on IE Sports Radio. Glad to have him here. He is about as diehard as it gets. The dude is is about as Washington is. Emerald City all day. He's everywhere, from the west to the east side of Washington State. Ladies and gentlemen, glad to have him here. He was on our show earlier last year during the Primetime Face-Off, and, well, glad to have him here again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming one more time, and, well, actually, another time of many, now that he's even a part of the team. What's going on, Art Hernandez? What's going on, brother? How you doing today, man?
Hey, man, what's up? I appreciate it. Thank you for that intro.
Hey.
Yeah, hey, and you know what? I did win that face-off against the Rams that week, but we lost the game. So either or, I kind of walked away with a dub.
Hey, that's right. Hey, you proved to the judges that you had better points than the Rams. So I mean, I'm just saying, man. Good stuff there, brother.
I just had a better mouthpiece that week.
Hey, it's all good. You had it. That's all that matters. So, hey, good stuff. I mean, I know the game mattered more, but it's all good, brother. Well, you had a great face-off. And like I said, man, welcome to the team. We're glad to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I'm hoping to bring some heat for Washington State. Everything from Husky football to Cougs football, Seahawks, Mariners. Let's do it. Sounders. Anything Washington related, we're gonna put it out there.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man. He'll be getting into Gonzaga, Whitworth College, all this stuff, man.
Absolutely. Yakima Valley Community College, Marjon Beauchamp out there representing for Yakima. Yeah, so definitely we got a lot going on right now.
That's what's up, man. Hey, if I'm not mistaken, when the game stands tall, was it Bellevue High School who defeated the?
Yeah, they did. They did Bellevue Prep, I think, right?
That's right. They ended the streak.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, man. Washington sports has a rich history,
and it's getting richer and richer. We have a lot of great product coming out of the state, and especially here in my hometown of Yakima. We put out Cooper Kupp, Davis High School, Super Bowl MVP. So I don't want to give too much props to the Rams, but yeah, y'all got one of our best.
Look at that. Washington born and bred. That's right.
Yes, indeed.
That's what's up, brother. Well, hey, man, glad to have you aboard. The show is only like 5 minutes old. We don't even have a name yet, but catch Art every Thursday evening, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. I'm so excited for this show to get started, man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm excited, too.
Absolutely, man. Well, welcome aboard. We thank you for that, man. So let's get into the last season, brother. You guys, the Seahawks, all right? So he started off with a nice little victory over the Colts. That was wonderful. And you know what? Wonderful job. It was well earned. And then you just nosedived. Like, it was just a two-game skid. Then there was another victory. Hey, you had a nice little win over the Niners. Cool. Then you get a 3-game skid. Then you get another win. You're like, hey, but it's the Jaguars. But who cares? Hey, we won. Yeah, cool. And then you guys, another 3-game skid. Then you go 2 straight. Then a 2-game skid, but you win on a 2-game win streak. Realistically, man, this season, I mean, if it was a game or two different, I mean, you guys could have really been in the playoffs. And in my opinion, this is a Seahawks team that really wasn't, it wasn't even what the older Seahawks teams were. Like, honestly, you guys, I just feel like there was a few pieces that were missing that could have made that season a whole bit different. But anyway, with that said, you will finish 7-10 in the basement of the NFC West. But once again, in a powerhouse division, you guys looked pretty strong, couldn't string it together. Tell us every raw emotion from last season, Art. What was last season like for you?
Man, it was, honestly, we started off the year extremely excited, not knowing the turmoil that was about to hit us, the team losing Russ at the end, and even throughout his injury and having to see a different quarterback, somebody other than Russ. It really affected me as a fan, right? I was on an emotional roller coaster all year long. It was super sad to see. It was just something that, we're just not used to seeing, not used to seeing that look on our players' faces, that level of frustration, losing game after game. But I tell you what, man, I feel like the players that are left behind today have learned a lot from the adversity. I seen Tyler Lockett frustrated last year. I've never seen that man angry at anybody. I seen Russell Wilson look defeated in the middle of a game. I felt like Pete Carroll had lost the team. But at the same time, I feel like you can never count out Pete Carroll or the things that he's going to do. And I know everybody down there in Southern California, you guys remember Pete Carroll well.
Oh, we love him.
You guys know better than anybody his accomplishments and the things that he's able to do with players. So, yeah, I mean, we were super bummed out. I'm still super bummed out. I don't know what to expect of the season. It's going to be anybody's guess with the Seahawks. But I'm 100% hopeful. I believe in Pete. I believe in John Schneider. I believe in the way that they built this team up. I don't want to use the word rebuild either. I feel like having Geno Smith at quarterback isn't that far away from what we had. I mean, it's still the same kind of offense, same playbook for Geno. I think Drew Lock's going to be an even bigger obstacle, for the season. But we'll see how that goes. But I know it's going to be a lot different as a fan watching somebody other than number 3 suit up at QB and throw that ball around. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I'll tell you, man, that's got to hurt. Russell Wilson, I mean, I'm a little dude, man. I'm 5'9", and I play defensive end. I'm still playing semi-pro. I love the game. But when I was in high school, when I was in college, like, when Russell Wilson came out, I love what he said in the draft when they interviewed him. I think it was in the combine. I think it was in the combine, actually, not in the draft. They interviewed him, and he was saying, like, yeah, like, no matter what, it doesn't matter because, like, I know I'm going to go somewhere because I have a lot of, he says, you could measure a bench press, you can measure a vertical jump, you can measure a broad jump, you can measure a 40. He says, but I have a lot of what you can't measure, and that's heart. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to steal that. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, come on.
And he's very philosophical, and Russ is Russ. A lot of people call him corny or whatever. He's a great man. I don't know what's being on with him here towards the back end of the career. I'm not going to wait for him to go to Denver to start talking bad about him. But I definitely seen a different side of Russ. It's like more Hollywood, less football. And maybe that was what the problem was. I think only Pete and them know, what was really going on with Russ or his mind frame or his mentality or what the reasons were behind them not wanting to work together anymore. And trying to continue the legacy in Seattle and whatnot. But I know legacy is important to him. I know he's talked about it continuously. I'm really bummed out that it's not going to continue in Seattle. And honestly, like, I'm not trying to be a hater or anything, but I definitely don't wish him success. I know that'll make me hated amongst Seahawks fans. But, as a Seahawks fan, I'm counting on Denver having a horrible season since we owned their first-round pick. I'm still all about my Seahawks. I'm grateful and appreciative for everything Russ did, bringing the Super Bowl here for the first time and all that great stuff. But at the end of the day, he's gone, and he chose to be gone. And hasta luego.
That's
it is what it is. It's just a business. So now we got to move on, and we got to see if Geno's going to be the answer for the year, or if they're going to throw Drew Lock around, or what the deal is going to be.
Yeah, seriously, man. I mean, that's crazy. I didn't even realize that Hollywood. I mean, and it's true. Pete Carroll's that old school, let's go to work kind of guy. We saw the SC. But who knows, man? I don't know what happened with Russ. I wish him all the best. But, man, seeing, of course, that's a perfect transition on into the free agency, man. So, free agency, we've seen Russ go. That's the elephant in the room, but you already talked about that. So, he's gone. The next one has got to be the stake in the heart, man. Another SoCal guy. This time a player, Bobby Wagner out of Rancho Cucamonga High School. He played not too far from where I played high school. The guy's a freaking monster. And, well, he's coming back home, if you will say, back to play for the Rams. I mean, we have that going on. We had Gerald Everett going to the Chargers. Hyder is going back to the Niners. I guess he was there. He was actually there before. Now he's back. That's what Jess was telling me in the last interview right before this one. But then again, you guys had some pretty good pickups. I'm not going to go over all of them because I know you can address all those, man. But the big one that I thought, of course, Russ and him leaving, Wagner leaving, but you guys got some pretty good players too, man. Quentin Jefferson coming over from the Raiders, I liked him a lot. I think he can go over and help you guys out on the defensive line. Shelby Harris, of course, coming on over to the defensive line. You guys have Noah Fant, a dude who I think is really good, man. He's just got to, stay on it, and he needs to continue to develop. But him, Nwosu from the Chargers, he was a USC player. So I'm just saying he's a hell of an edge rusher. You guys have a lot of players, man. So let us know. Talk about free agency, man. What did you like? What did you not like? What's good?
Super excited about Nwosu. Super excited. I really feel like Pete Carroll's trying to bolster that defense, and he's doing it the right way. He's bringing in the right kind of players. Noah Fant is honestly, I feel like he's going to become my favorite Seahawk really quick. Dude is a beast. Dude is a monster. He coming over with Drew Lock. I know they kind of came over in this package of deal, but I hope he can kind of stay away from Drew Lock and really show his potential. I think he's got the game to be one of the best tight ends in the league. As far as my boy Bobby Wagner, oh man, where do I even start? Right?
Yeah.
Super heartbroken. It's another one of these situations. I don't know if I ever told you this, Larry, but I'm an HVAC guy. I do HVAC, and I've always told people that out here, when you lose an HVAC job or you quit or you move on, it's never a pretty breakup. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what's been going on in Seattle. Every big name that leaves, particularly speaking about Richard Sherman going to the Niners, now Bobby Wagner going to the Rams, staying within division is kind of, I feel like it's a slap in the face. It's kind of like well, you definitely didn't have my back, so this is where I'm going. But another one of those players that I've got to tell you a quick little story. I don't know if I told you this, but after the face-off, my wife and I, we flew out to go see the Seahawks play in Pittsburgh.
Oh, nice.
So I'm a big kid. I like to collect autographs and whatnot. So when they opened the stadium, I took off running down to the Seahawks tunnel with my wife in tow. I felt kind of embarrassed because I'm a grown man down there asking for autographs, right? But I figured, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm out here with my family. I've got my 12th man flag. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I literally had to beg Bobby Wagner to even look at me. And when he finally did come over to me, he kind of gave me like this, and you're a grown man asking me for an autograph look. He signed it hesitantly. I told him thank you. He never even made eye contact with me and just walked away. And I got to tell you that when he left, just maybe it was more on personal feelings, but I was like, maybe it was just time to go for Bobby. Maybe Bobby just needed a change of pace. I feel like he wasn't even looking at the fans the same anymore. And man, I know that's a hard one for me to talk about, but yeah, I love Bobby. I wish I kind of wouldn't have asked for his autograph anymore, but either way, I got it.
I'm glad you got it, and that's kind of disappointing. I mean, I get it. Depending on if it was a win or a loss, I understand that. It's hard when you, especially
it was pre-game. It was pre-game. It was. But I'm not knocking him or anything. I was just sharing the story and my feelings on Bobby. Because he's been one of my favorite players since he was drafted. And it hurts to see him go. It's definitely going to be a lot harder to see Bobby in the Rams jersey than it is to see Russ in the Denver jersey.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at KJ Wright in a Raider jersey. You know what I mean?
Oh, man, that's wrong.
That was crazy. I mean, you guys, we shared Bruce Irvin back and forth, I think, for a little bit. Right. Right. Tom Cable was the guy we shared back and forth. Marshawn Lynch. The Seahawks and Raiders had this pipeline thing. But no, man, we had, there was that, and then it's crazy. I mean, to me, I feel like this is like another one of those. My gosh, you guys had Nate Clemens when he left. That was crazy. That was hard. When Tupu left, my gosh,
he's one of my all-time favorite Seahawks. And it feels more like maybe the Seahawks front office, they don't know how to deal with players once they become men. It's a lot easier to deal with people coming out of college and you're teaching them the game and whatnot, and then at a certain point, people start to value themselves as who they are as players on the field, and it's just kind of like, you're not just going to push me around in any direction.
Exactly. And I'll tell you right now, man, I mean, as of right now, look at this, though. Looking at ourlads.com, I mean, DK Metcalf's still there. Tyler Lockett, I remember seeing him return his senior year in one of his last games at Kansas State. He returned a touchdown. from kickoff, and I was like, wherever that guy goes, man. And wouldn't you know it, he goes to Seattle and does the same thing there. I mean, you have Noah Fant. He's pretty solid, pretty okay offensive line. You know, they just got to continue to get better. That defense, I mean, Boona Ford is still a monster. I mean, Al Woods now adding Nwosu. I mean, seriously, it's a pretty okay. I mean, I know it's not Legion of Boom no more back there, but still, man, Adams, Diggs. I mean, you guys have a pretty solid right now. I mean, how are you feeling about the current team?
You know, honestly, I feel like sneakily the Seahawks have built a better team on paper than what anybody is really talking about. And there's a couple of rookies in there that I feel are going to be day one starters, possibly impact makers. Ken Walker III. As a running back and Kobe Bryant as cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
I think these guys are going to be really special. They also picked up a guy from University of Texas, San Antonio, Tariq Woolen. Dude is like a Cam Chancellor prototype. It's amazing the things that you can see him do. I don't know if he's a day one starter, but he's definitely going to be a difference maker in the Seahawks defense for a long time. The offense is still on fire. I mean, obviously there's that big question mark at quarterback, but Rashad Penny came off of a hell of a end of the year. Ken Walker is no slump. Noah Fant, Will Dissly, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. I know you mentioned the offensive line. They've got two rookies that they picked up this year that are going to be day one starters, in Abraham Lucas from Wazoo and Charles Cross. These guys are beasts. No matter what, I feel like the O-line is already twice as good as it was last year, and that's without a doubt. So I really like the team. I feel like they're doing something special, something that maybe people aren't noticing, and hopefully it comes up and sneaks everybody.
I can see that happening, man. I mean, you already jumped ahead, but yeah, look at the draft, man. I mean, this year, courtesy of ESPN.com, first overall or first round, 9th pick, Charles Cross. I mean, that already, I feel like that is one of the biggest needs, you know, when you guys, right. I mean, I remember seeing, who was there before, Walter Jones, right before Okung?
Oh, yeah, Big Walt.
So, I mean, like, you know, you guys continue to get these monstrous offensive linemen, you know, so it's like, Boye Mafe, I think, was a hell of a pickup, man. Ken Walker, you know,
Yeah, I love their first 3-4 picks. I mean, they hit them. I really feel like they had themselves a 2012 type style draft. They picked up some names that are going to make difference for a long time. I personally wish that they would have picked up a quarterback. I was high on Matt Corral. I was hoping that was somebody that they could kind of come in and play around with a little bit. I'm not sure Drew Lock's going to get as much play as people think he's going to get. You know, so I really feel like they should have drafted a quarterback, even as far as they had started to fall. Although it's like, okay, so if we give Malik Willis, then we don't take Ken Walker. You know, so it's kind of a give situation. But I wish we would have gotten somebody.
I feel you, man. This is definitely that kind of moment where you got to pick somebody up that to be behind center too. I get you. Moving forward, man, to FBschedules.com, looking at the schedule. It looks like this year, of course, it looks like you guys got as you mentioned, the AFC West. And it looks like you also have, let's see, who is this? The NFC South. And then the few outliers here that are not in either conferences that you guys just play. We got here, let's see, the Giants from the NFC East, and it looks like the Jets. The Jets from the AFC East. Oh, yeah, wait, yeah, I think so. The Lions are in there as well. So, I mean, yeah, man, this schedule looks, I mean, it looks like the Seahawks can be very competitive and more than likely successful. But go ahead, man. Give it to us, Art. Talk about this year, the schedule going into this year. What are you looking at? What are you thinking? How do you think they're going to perform? I mean, what's your whole take on this season by looking at the schedule?
I definitely think that our Super Bowl begins September 12th against Denver. I don't know how we're going to fare against the AFC West. I'm pretty sure we're going to end up below 500 in that series. But man, if we can sneak one against Russ, if we can take one away from the AFC West, I'm not too disappointed. You know, I know we're going to take some L's, but I think it's a pretty favorable schedule with Detroit, New Orleans, Atlanta, all having new QBs coming in or somebody else, you know. I know Jared Goff's in Detroit, but I'm not really too scared of him at all. NFC West is, you know, I think we're going to fight those. I think those are going to be 1-1 games. Maybe the Rams are going to be the ones that own us, you know, because they still look extremely solid in our division. Tampa's going to be a fun game. I'm hoping to possibly attend that in Germany. So we'll see how that goes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, all in all, you know, I feel like no matter what, Seahawks are going to have a heck of a time. I don't think the schedule is all that easy towards the back end. I feel like the games that they're going to win, they need to win at the beginning of the year, or else we might have a top 3 pick in the draft next year.
Oh, well, that's a hard way to look at it, but I feel
yeah,
man, I get you.
I know it, man. I know it. I know. I just don't know. I don't know if the QBs that we have on roster now have what it takes to push it all the way. You know, we know what Geno is. We've seen what Geno can do. He's a great guy. He's a great backup, in my opinion. Probably the best backup quarterback in the league. But franchise quarterback, definitely not. I mean, he's not going to be the guy that pulls the trigger and takes you to the Super Bowl. And Drew Lock, I mean, there's too many unanswered questions with him. He's a fresh face on a new team with a new jersey and a new stadium. I don't know how that's going to work out for somebody who was already inexperienced where he was at, and definitely not the first choice. So, you know, with that said, unless Seattle's got one hell of a running game that, you know, just some massive record-breaking running game that just stuns the world, and we might be in trouble this season, Larry.
I hope not, but man,
yeah, I hope not.
It's realistic though, and I love that realism. See, y'all, this is just a little snippet of what you're gonna be getting on Art's new show on IE Sports Radio, y'all. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a great show. Really excited for that, man. But with that said, brother, we only got a few minutes left, but we want to end it off with the segment that has just developed quite the name over the years doing this show, man. And this little segment is called Stick It To 'Em. Now, what is Stick It To 'Em, you may ask? Well, in the first 2 segments, for all of you listeners out there, y'all already know Art. Stick It To 'Em is very simple. You have 3 other teams in the division that you love to not like. And you know, the funny thing is, they don't like you right back. That's the best part about it. With that said, here we go, man. You talked about how you think the Seahawks are going to do this year. Well, I get it. There's, 3 other teams that made the playoffs last year, and you guys were the only ones to not. So you can go about it any way you'd like to. Respectful, and, nice, mean and ugly, depending on, doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter whatsoever. You're just speaking as a fan from the heart, talk about how you really feel about them. Or you could be a mesh of the middle, or mesh up, of the 2 in the middle. Regardless, man, tell us, what do you think about those other 3 teams this season? Art, stick it to them.
I'm going to start with San Fran. San Fran is a joke. Trey Lance isn't even the best quarterback on that team, and the Niners are about to trade away Jimmy G with his broke-down shoulders. And also, they have a fake-ass DK Metcalf on the roster with Debo, who's an even bigger crybaby than the pacify wearer. So if I was y'all, I just scratch it and start all over. So Arizona, I have no idea. I don't even know a player on Arizona's team besides Kyler Murray at this point. Like, I don't understand how everybody thinks they're that much better than Seattle. Seahawks football has dominated Arizona for years, and it's going to continue to be like that. The Rams, your best player is from Washington. He's from Yakima. You guys really an LA team? I'm not even too sure that the Rams are the best team in Los Angeles, but we've already had that conversation. There it is. Stick it to 'em.
Dang, that was short and sweet. My gosh, that was a good one. That was, I can't wait for that one. That's a candidate for one of the best Stick It To 'Ems. For sure, I'm positive. It's only day 1, but that right there is...
You can't see me, but I'm bowing over here.
I love it. Hey, man, I'll see it. I feel you. It deserves it. You deserve the bow, man. So check it out, man. That's what I'm talking about. Awesome stuff today, brother. With that said, man, one last thing to do here today. get that plug. Let all these diehard Seattle Seahawks fans know where to find you on Twitter. Share any other social medias you want to share. Anything else you want to share, man, please do, because, well, it's going to be a fun ride from here on out. You got that new show coming up. Like I said, all kinds of great things coming, man. So go ahead, Art, get that plug, man.
Yes, sir, man. I've only got really one handle out there. It's just at Art Hernandez Jr. 4 on Twitter. Hit me up. Follow me. I'll follow back. And get ready for this new Washington State podcast, because we're going to get it going.
Oh, it's going to be fun, y'all. Make sure to catch, once again, Art Hernandez Jr., man. He will be on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific time. That's late for all of you over there on the East Coast, but if you're someone on the East Coast who loves to show love to Seattle and the state of Washington, or if you're from Seattle or the state of Washington and you may have moved for work or whatnot, hey man, this podcast is available on demand, Spreaker.com, and everywhere you can find your podcast, or at least a lot of places you can find your podcast. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss this show. So with that said, Art, once again, man, it's going to be fire. It really is, man. So I appreciate you for being here today. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and showing love, man. We appreciate you. You have your wonderful rest of your day, man. Wonderful weekend, wonderful week. Take care. God bless. We'll talk to you soon, man.
I appreciate it, man. 3 now.
Hey, all day, bro. Take care. All right, y'all. That was Art Hernandez. This dude's amazing, man. So with that said, we are going to close it up here for that segment. Guess what? Coming up, oh, it's going to be fun. We have Adrian with the Rams, the Super Bowl champion Rams. Well, let's see what he has to say in this final segment as we get ready to put a stamp on 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days. NFC West, day number 1. We will talk to you guys coming up right after this. Once again, y'all, get ready. This next segment is going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you after the break, y'all. Once again, stay tuned.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Locke.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we promised you a special treat for this 8 divisions in 8 days NFC West special, day 1 of 8 divisions in 8 days. And I'll tell you, we had to dig deep for this one. Actually, we didn't have to dig very deep at all because he was so ready available, but I made dang sure that he was the first on my list, and I'm so glad that he was able to make it happen this weekend. He's a busy man, but he was able to get a little time for this interview, and I'm so glad we can have him here. He was on 3 and Out last year in some primetime face-offs. He was all over the place, man, in so many good ways. Critical of his team, yet showing how much of a diehard he was, and I just couldn't think of anybody better for this segment here. Ladies and gentlemen, glad to have him here for, I believe, his second or third time here on 3 and Out. He is here to talk about his Los Angeles... Wait, hold on. Let me... That was very incorrect. He is here to talk about his Super Bowl champion, Los Angeles Rams. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here on 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, day number 1, NFC West. Adrian, what's going on, brother? How you doing today, man?
Man, Larry, I'm good. I'm so glad that you caught yourself there. You had to
make sure that you got the whole name right. Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. So I appreciate you taking the time to make that correction, brother.
But you are very welcome, because I mean, hey, that's the only way to address a champion is to give the full name. All right, you know.
For sure, man.
You guys.
Before we get started, man, in all seriousness, right? Because football, what we talk about here, talking trash to some division rivals and stuff. All of that is fun and games, but I do want to acknowledge some stuff that's really happening right now. And I don't know Gina too well, but I know that she is a 49er fan in this division, and I know her pops has been out with some medical stuff. So before we get started, I just wanted to let everybody that's listening know, let Gina know, hey, we're praying for you, for your family, for your pops. We're hoping everything works out right, man. At the end of the day, it's deeper than football.
Man, that hit so deep, and I yes, 1,000%. I didn't even know you do. I mean, I know she's put out there a few times, but that's awesome, man. I'm glad you were able to see that, and I know she's just in a tough place. She's actually going to be kind of funny. She'll actually be making time for the show in a little bit. I'm really happy to have her on. In the actual chronological order of this show, she already went. She was the second person. The second person up, it was Cardinals, Niners, Seahawks, and now it's the Rams. But yes, I'll be speaking to Gina in a little bit for that interview that you guys already heard in this show that's airing on Monday. But yes, Adrian, no, absolutely, man. Thoughts, prayers, all kinds of positive vibes to Gina and her family, and hoping he pulls through this one. Definitely a hard time. I'd let her know I don't even want her on air. I want her to, I just let her know that this is something that I told her I don't even care when you get back. Not in a negative way. You know what I mean? But you take all the time you need, and when the show comes back, the show comes back. As of right now, she's just, at a place where she needs to be with her family and everybody. So, but yes, thoughts and prayers, and man, that's how you started, man. Hey, brother, that's real, man. Thank you for mentioning that, and I know Gina G appreciates that for sure.
For sure, man.
So, mad love, man, mad appreciation. So, all right, brother. Well, let's go ahead and jump on this thing, man. The Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. My goodness. It was a storybook season. I mean, you guys finished, my gosh, what was that, 16-5 overall in the entire season. You went 3-0 to start the season off, one loss to the Cardinals, then you went another 4-0, dropped 3 in a row, and then went off towards the end of the season with another 5-0 and lost a tough one in overtime. Not that it mattered at the end of the season because you guys were already in. Then you just breezed through it, took out the Cardinals. I mean, you guys saw them before, so took them out, took out Tom and the Bucks, and saw another familiar foe, the Niners, in the NFC Championship, took them out, and then you had a tango with them Cincinnati Bengals, and it would end in a 23-20 victory. The Super Bowl champions for the first time since the greatest show on turf since that 99-2000 season. Just special. I am a defensive lineman myself. I just love the art. I love the game. One of my all-time favorite players, of course, and one of the best players of this generation. I mean, you can call him all kinds of things, like, a bulldozer, or things like that, because that's basically what he is. But of course, Aaron Donald, man, absolute beast. This man made the final play of the game. I mean, it sat so well with me since he's just playing the 3 technique defensive lineman to make that final play. I'm just saying, man, it was beautiful. I'm going to shut up and let you have the floor, man. But just a beautiful season. I had to get all that out there. You guys dominated. Once again, last but not least, the NFC West, 12-5 in the regular season in a tough division where 3 of the teams made the playoffs. The Seahawks weren't even far off. There were a few more things that went right, and my gosh, you guys would have all somehow made it. I don't think that's possible. But anyway, with that said, Adrian, man, go ahead and recap that beautiful storybook season for the Rams.
Look, man, like you touched on, it wasn't all pretty. It wasn't all roses. I mean, we had a winless December, man, and I'd be lying to you if, as a fan, I wasn't going into panic mode. You guys can go check my Twitter receipts. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not deleting anything. I was putting stuff out there. This isn't a championship caliber team. This isn't how you win championships. This isn't what we need to be doing. We don't look interested in winning the the Super Bowl. So, all that's out there. Y'all go pull the receipts, call me whatever you want to call. I criticize my team how I see it, man, and they just weren't playing with a lot of heart. They weren't making a lot of smart decisions. Matt Stafford was falling into some of his bad habits, right? Was playing hero ball, and I think that's always been one of Matt's weaknesses because he hasn't had a real team that he can rely on for the most part. He's been the team. So it's kind of hard to just trust guys to go out there and do their job. And when you try to force stuff, that's when we start getting all of that foolishness. There were some surprises this year. Arizona coming out hot as they did. They always tend to start the season very, very good, but I don't think anybody expected that offense to really be clicking the way that it was clicking, and the defense was going too. When they came to our house and beat us that week 4, I was tight, man. I was tight because there was like 3 plays that I can recall off the top of my head that is like, man, if those plays just go the other way, right? We just execute. This is a totally different ball game. Beating Tampa twice in the same year, right? Beating them in our house and beating them in their house because we had heard much to do about Tampa, especially the last season. All respect to the GOAT Tom Brady, but I told you guys last year that not only was Tampa not going to go undefeated, but Tom Brady in a Buccaneers uniform has never beaten the Los Angeles Rams. We played 3 times now. We played twice in his house and we played 1 in ours, and it's all ended the same for Tom. So I told you guys how that was going to rock last year. Russell Wilson over there with the Seahawks, Aaron Donald's favorite tackling dummy. Same thing rang true this season. The 49ers, man, I hate them to my core, but you got to respect what they do on the field, right? I can be a Rams fan and I can talk all sorts of crazy, but this is a team that has our number, man, and they continue to have our number, and they're, good. They're not even good. They're great. Their coach is phenomenal, man. They know exactly what buttons to push. I thought for sure that Week 17 game, man, how fast we came out, how strong, how dominant we were. I thought, yeah, this is going to be a wrap, but we let them jokers come back. But you know what, man? It was all part of the plan, I guess, because, if I was writing the movie for this, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way than to go back through, San Francisco to, put that definitive statement out there that we deserve to be there instead of us, just dodging San Francisco. How appropriate that we had to go through Tom and that we had to go through Kyler and that we had to go through, Jimmy G and Kyle Shanahan to get where we want. And then, the icing on the cake, man, we had a former Cincinnati Bengal, longtime Cincinnati Bengal, Andrew Whitworth, right? A guy who spent the majority of his career in Cincinnati, towing the line for that team when they weren't very good, man. And for him to be able to face off against his former team in that game, right, in the Super Bowl, Zach Taylor, one of Sean McVay's former coaches, right, making his Super Bowl debut. I mean, what poetry for that, man. Odell Beckham Jr. getting his shot at his first Super Bowl, and him showing out in the first half before that dreaded injury, right? Cooper Kupp, that season of destiny, right? Matthew Stafford being the sole quarterback behind 2 of the most prolific receiving seasons that we've ever seen in NFL history with Megatron and Cooper Kupp. Aaron Donald, you remember him swinging Jimmy Garoppolo down to the turf before Trayvon Howard intercepts it to close out the NFC Championship game, getting up, pointing to the ring finger, right? Mm-hmm. And like you mentioned, man, what else do you want? Him finishing out the game the way that he does. There was, much to do about a holding call, a non-holding call, Jalen Ramsey getting burnt. Was Jalen Ramsey not getting burnt? Like, this is where I wish that we had, some visuals, man, because I would just, I'd love to point out a few things to some individuals. But all of that stuff is irrelevant, right? What calls went for you, what calls didn't go for you is written in stone, in history. Los Angeles Rams are the Super Bowl 56 champions. No matter about what calls did or didn't happen, nothing's going to change that from now until the end of time. So, like I said, man, what an awesome season. We had all sorts of players step up, man. I got, it was a dream season for me, not just because we won the Super Bowl, man, but like some of my favorite players in the league that I've admired for a long time that I never in a million years would have thought would have ended up on the Rams, right? Like this is Madden type stuff, right? Von Miller in a Rams jersey. Never thought I'd see that ever outside of Madden. Odell Beckham in a Rams jersey. Never thought I'd see that, right? We got Eric Weddle to come off the couch. Now, I know he played for us 2 years ago, but him to come off the couch, tear his tech early in the Super Bowl and still tough it out, man. I love this team, man. I love this team. They drive me crazy. I'm definitely more gray this year than I was last year watching them, but I can't wait to do it again.
Man, I had to hit the applause button for you, brother. I mean, that beautiful words, man. I love it. I love it. And you know, man, you gave it to us. Exactly the emotion. This is why we brought you on, man, for this show. The emotion, the heart, everything. The realism, everything. So I love it, man. You're right. Outside of Madden, correct. Von Miller, I mean, we're going to get into free agency. Perfect segue because he's headed over to the Bills now. But regardless, great stuff there. Just a beautiful. You said poetry. I love the Whitworth thing. It's crazy to think because I thought to myself, like, kind of funny he'd be in this game no matter what. But really cool to see that veteran retire the way he did. I didn't even know about the Sean McVay's protege or was one of the coaches. That's crazy. I mean, I just think this is amazing. It was a beautiful season, man. So capped it off with that Super Bowl victory. What a thing of beauty for you guys, man. So we just mentioned Von Miller heading on over to the Bills. We're going to take a look at some free agency real quick, man. Bobby Wagner, though, you guys acquired a beastie monster. If I'm not mistaken, he didn't play too far from where I played, man, where I grew up. Rancho Cucamonga, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. He played right here, Southern California boy, so he's coming back home to Southern California. You guys picked him up. Allen Robinson's heading on over. Robert Woods, however, headed over to the Titans. Because once again, a lot of different things. We got a lot of moving pieces, but I'm not going to talk about that, man. I want you to, drop it on us, man. Your key pickups and departures from free agency this year for the Rams. What do you got?
Okay, man. Well, let's start with the departures, right? Let's start with the elephant in the room. Vaughn leaving. Picking the Buffalo Bills over the Los Angeles Rams, right? This is a sore spot for a lot of us in the Rams fan base, man. And you can get on Twitter and hop all up and down Rams timeline, bro. There's a lot of people that feel really salty about the way he went about it because he made it seem like, that we were family, that this is where he wanted to be, right? That he loved the team, he loved the players, he loved the coaches. And I'm not saying all of that is a lie, right? But then he goes and he says, it's not about the money. But then come to find out, it's about the money, right? And he tried to spin it like, I want to be the first player in history to win 3 Super Bowls with 3 different teams. Cool, man. But don't come out and be like it's not about the money. And here's the thing, right? I can't fault Vaughn because if I'm Vaughn's age, right, and somebody throw $136 million in my face, I'm gonna go take it, man. Like I'm not gonna cap for you. Like I'm gonna go take the 100. So I don't fault him for that. I just just the way that he left, the conversation that he's had since leaving, where it's not about the money, but it's very clearly about the money. Like that doesn't sit well with a lot of the fan base. Me personally, I proudly wear my Von Miller jersey. For those of you that don't know, I stay in Colorado, so it is daggers to the hearts of many a Bronco fan out here. They see me in the streets with that Rams jersey, rocking the number 40 with the Miller on there. Regardless of how he left, man, we don't get that Lombardi Trophy without Von Miller. I can't overstate how crucial he was, not just to the team, right, but for him putting that extra battery in Aaron Donald's back and really getting Aaron to step up and be the leader that we always know that he could be, but pushing him. Aaron Donald is one of one. How many other people can literally come and challenge Aaron Donald and tell him, hey, you have to be better, you got to do more? There's very few people in this league that have the right to do so. Vaughn is one of those guys, and because of him, I think we're getting the best version out of Aaron. And I think not only that, we're going to get an even better version this season. So it's a key departure, man. You don't replace a Von Miller. He's a first ballot Hall of Fame. We're going to have some dogs, some edge rushers, but it's just going to be different, right, without Vaughn there. So that's a key. That's one key departure. Then another key departure that doesn't get talked about as much, right? But he was very integral to our Super Bowl run, is Sebastian Joseph Day. And that was a homegrown talent, man. I think we picked Sebastian up in, I want to say, like the 5th or the 6th round a couple years ago. And that's really a guy that we kind of groomed. And he's been one of the top 10 run defenders, interior run defenders in the league for like the past 2 seasons, man. So he had really come along. I was looking forward to signing him long-term, man, and getting a contract. He plays really well with Aaron and the rest of that defensive front, so I was sad to see him go, especially for him to go across the hall to the Chargers. Larry, I know you feel some type of way about the Chargers, but he's still, he's still in LA. He's still wearing blue and yellow, but he's wearing, the more what do you want to call it, the more powdery form of the blue. But I mean, I'm happy for him to get his money, get his contract. I started getting a feeling that we weren't going to keep him with the emergence of Greg Gaines, who has turned into a dog down the stretch. Really excited that we got Greg coming back. And then, the most heartbreaking departure of all for me this season, I mean, we lost D. Will. We lost a couple guys, right? But the most heartbreaking departure for me this season is Robert Woods, man. And this is a kid that played his college ball at USC, right? He's a California kid. Him coming to the Rams back in 2017 from Buffalo, with Sean McVay, with Andrew Whitworth, right? That was really the harbinger of the turnaround for this team. He is a big reason why we had the success that we had, big reason why we were able to play so well and get to the Super Bowl in 2018. It sucks that him and Kupp were never able to be on the field for those big games together, right? ACL injury for Kupp in 2018, ACL injury for Woods this past season, man. And to see that brotherhood, you feel for those guys because you know how much Robert Woods meant to that locker room, meant to that team, meant to Cooper Kupp personally. But at the end of the day, it's a business. I wish him nothing but success in Tennessee. Unless we play Tennessee, then we gotta put the clamps on him. But yeah, man, that was a hard, just as a fan, right? Like, he's a fan favorite. So departures, that's always rough. Andrew Whitworth retiring. You don't ever want to see Big Whit leave, especially at that blind side, right? We're rocking with Joe Noteboom. Now we'll see what the Young Bucks got. But Big Whit feels more like a Ram than he ever did a Bengal. I'm not apologizing to any Cincinnati fan. That man is a Ram. He's going to retire as such. But then let's talk about acquisitions, right? Let's talk about Allen Robinson. Because I heard that Allen Robinson is washed, which is funny because that was the same conversation that I heard around Von Miller when he showed up at the Rams, that he was washed. And I don't know if you guys paid attention to what that playoff stretch looked like all the way down to Super Bowl. That didn't look like a washed Von Miller to me.
No.
Also, Matt Stafford, this is going to be the best quarterback that Allen Robinson has ever played with in his career. This is a guy, I think Allen Robinson is 28, 29, right? Big body, physical receiver, smooth in and out of his cuts. Loves to play the jump ball, right? And I think you could argue that that's a thing that the Rams haven't had for a long time, right, is a jump ball receiver. And I think we have that with Allen Robinson. So I think you're going to see some reduction in Cooper Kupp's production this year just because Allen Robinson is a viable threat, right? So I'm excited to see what he could do. But my favorite pickup, man, if you had told me we were going to get Bobby Wagner, I would have never believed you, 2 years ago. There's no way that guy's going to retire as Seahawk. Bobby Wagner has been my favorite interior linebacker since he came in the league. And it's disgusted me to no end that he's played for the Seahawks. And every year, man, I'll get him in Madden, I trade him, and I put him right there on the Rams. I don't care what it costs outside of Aaron Donald. I'm like, Bobby Wagner and Aaron Donald got to happen every year on Madden. So to get this in real life, dream come true, man. As soon as he signed a contract, I was like, get me the jersey. So I've got 2 Bobby Wagner jerseys right now. Very excited for what he's going to bring to the table, right? It's another veteran that has the credentials to push Aaron Donald to become something else. The interior of our defensive secondary, right, that middle of the field has always been kind of soft for the Rams under, Sean McVay. That's because we haven't really prized these middle linebackers, man. But now you're talking about one of the best currently in the league, right? I think I still got Fred Warner as my number one interior linebacker, but I got Bobby at number 2, and that's no disrespect to him. It's just the fact that he is aging. Fred is a little bit more versatile, a little bit more left to right with his movements, but Bobby, man, he has all the intangibles. He thinks about everything that he does. And you still feel him when he hits you, bro. That's not a person that you want to come across the middle and challenge, right? So I think that he's the perfect solution for the schedule that we got to play this year, going to go play the AFC West and Travis Kelce playing those tight ends, right? Darren Waller, got to play these big guys now that we have Bobby Wagner in the middle. That's not a place that you want to send them boys. And Ernest Jones, I cannot begin to tell you what the impact of Bobby Wagner on the young Ernest Jones, who I think you saw him step up last season, earn his spot, earn his stripes, becoming, a starting interior linebacker. And I think he has the potential to be very special. And how about that for the opportunity to learn from one of the best in the league at the position, right? I don't know how long this relationship is going to last. I'm just going to enjoy the ride. We haven't done a lot in acquisitions, but the one thing that you can never count the Rams out of is if there's a big name on the board, if there's a chance for us to acquire somebody to get better down the stretch, you know that Los Angeles is always going to be in play regardless of what the cap situation is. So how the roster looks today, we know by week 8, week 9, it's going to look much, much different. I still have a lot of confidence that OBJ is back in a Rams uniform this year. He fit so well, and like I said, had it not been for that injury during the Super Bowl, that would have been your Super Bowl MVP. The scoreboard would have looked a lot different because they had no answers for him at all. So I really hope that OBJ comes back. If he doesn't, I got an OBJ jersey right now already. I'm going to be eternally grateful. And like I said, that's another guy I never thought that we would see. So, yeah, man, excited for what's coming up.
Man, I love that. Beautiful analysis. Great stuff. Tons of great things moving. But we haven't even, okay, I get it. The draft isn't that spectacular. You guys didn't have a pick until the 3rd round. But I'm excited for a few guys you got, man. So let's go ahead and jump into the draft. This will probably be a really fast segment, but is what it is, man. In the draft this year, 3rd round pick, Logan Bruss. That was your guys' first pick of the draft. Guard out of Wisconsin. Big boy. In my opinion, he's a monster. Basically, all offensive linemen from Wisconsin are pretty damn good. I remember hearing something that they have, like the 12,000 calorie club or something like that, like where the big offensive linemen eat once a week or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool, man. Cool tradition. But anyway, you guys pick him up. Jacoby Durant, corner out of South Carolina State, solid corner. I like Quentin Lake. My goodness, I don't know how he fell to the 6th round, but this safety at UCLA, even looking here on ESPN.com, this guy got 3 picks last year. Of course, I'm a SC guy, so is what it is. Though I mean, the guy is a monster. I don't give a crap about none of that rivalry stuff when it comes to great athletes, and just how about these guys moving forward, and I'm wishing them all the best. So great stuff there. You get a champion and Darion Kendrick coming out, corner out of Georgia. I think this is great. He wasn't a champion, but he played in the FCS championship, of course, versus North Dakota State. Amazing stuff, man. Daniel Hardy, linebacker out of Montana State. Solid linebacker, man, at that level. Let's see if that could transfer over here. So I'm going to say, you guys got some pretty solid players. I think even for the later rounds, they may or may not be an immediate threat. More than likely, no, just because there's tons of talent. Number 2 thing, these guys usually do kind of, fall to the strings, if you will, or, maybe even practice squad, depending on how well they do. Some of them don't make it, which understood. But anyway, with that said, man, I want to hear all your thoughts on the roles you think these guys will be playing. Who are you excited about, and what do you think about this draft this year?
I'm much more excited about this draft than I was about last year's draft. Like, 200% more excited, more happy about the picks that we did get. Let's start with the first pick of this draft that we made, right? Logan Bruss. And I know linemen aren't attractive picks, right? That's not a sexy pick. But let me tell you something about Logan Bruss. You mentioned Wisconsin, and you mentioned those guys that just generally work out to be, good offensive linemen. Well, we got 2 Wisconsin Badgers that are now Super Bowl champion Wisconsin Badgers, right? our center, Brian Allen, and our right tackle, Rob Havenstein. And the plan that Sean McVay has is that Logan Bruss is going to plug in right between those two at right guard. He's probably going to start day one. I anticipate that happening. Some fun fact about Logan Bruss, man, that in over 1,000 snaps, he's only allowed 1 sack for his college career, man. Now, obviously, this is the NFL, right? Different caliber of talent. I would love for him never to allow a sack, but let's just be real. It's going to happen. They got some dogs on defense in the league. But, man, I'm excited because, once again, you know, we have some of that veteran leadership stepping out, and you get these young guys that are going to get an opportunity to play, improve themselves. I think Logan Bruss is a day one factor for us. Jacoby Durant, really like this guy, especially with the departure of, Darius Williams going to Jacksonville. We brought Troy Hill back from the Browns, right? Somebody that knows the system in and out. One of Jalen Ramsey's favorite players to play with. That's going to be in the slot. And I think Jacoby Durant, you're going to see him flip inside and out, right? This is a guy that played at one of the smaller schools in SEC, but he had his biggest games against the biggest competition like Clemson. So expect him, I've watched all of his interviews and stuff like this. This is a dog. This is a guy that isn't afraid of the challenge. He is a guy that will make the 53-man roster. Would not be surprised if he rotates into a day one starter. Tyreen Williams, right? Notre Dame running back, not particularly fast, but he's got that good twitch to him. He's got that tough run to him. I think he's going to balance out our running back room, especially with this being a contract year for Darrell Henderson. I don't see us re-signing him. Cam Akers is really going to get a chance to prove that he's the guy coming back from that injury. But Tyreen Williams, imagine that he's going to plug in at either, the 2 or the 3 option for the running back room. Very excited to have him on the team. And then Quentin Lake, man, what a steal. Can't believe that he fell down to the 6th. He's got NFL pedigree with his dad being a former player. But he's out to make a name for himself, right? Like, he wants to go down legendary. He's still in California with him being at the Rams, coming from UCLA. We have our free safeties, a strong safety room. You've got Nick Scott, who I think is on a contract year. You have Taylor Rapp that's on a contract year. Jordan Fuller, who will be the 3rd year for us, but he was another 6th-round safety that we got. Picked 199 out of Ohio State, right? And he inserted himself as a day one starter and now Super Bowl champion. I think partnering him with somebody like Quentin Lake, being able to move Quentin down into the box or up top, right, to give Fuller those breathers or to give Nick Scott those breathers, I think we're going to be in good hands with, a potential departure coming for either Taylor Rapp or Nick Scott. So I'm very excited about Quentin Lake. Darian Kendrick, like you say, he's coming from a championship program. I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched too much on him. But the guy that you did mention that I am very excited for, and I think he's going to have a bigger impact than what people are anticipating, probably not week 1, but I'm thinking by week 6, week 7, Daniel Hardy is going to carve out a role for himself on this roster, especially with that departure of Von Miller that we were talking about. Mm-hmm. He's long, he's physical, fast, and he's got great bend to him. I expect him to challenge Terrell Lewis for the edge rushing spot opposite of Leonard Floyd. I think those are 3 rushers that we're going to have is going to be Terrell Lewis, Chris Garrett, who came out of that Division III school. We drafted him last year, who made his way onto the 53-man. I think Daniel Hardy rounds out that room of edge rushers this year. He'll make the 53, and I think by week 7, he'll be logging significant snaps playing opposite Flo. I think this is a kid that can be potentially dangerous in that if we give him time, right, and he stays healthy, I think Daniel Hardy is going to become a household name, not just for Rams fans, but I believe for the league in general. He could potentially be a generational pass rusher, and I know that sounds crazy talking about a pass rusher from the 7th round, but mark my words, I think Daniel Hardy is special. If he makes his team and he can stay healthy, he'll be a household name in about a year or 2.
I'm just saying, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You do not have to be from a Division I single A university to make things happen, and you don't have to be a first-round pick. I'm not saying that those won't help you, because they definitely will. But I'm just saying, this young man, Montana State, amazing athlete. You just look at a guy, Ali Marpet, okay? Who the hell is Ali Marpet if you don't know who he is? He blocked for, of course, good old TB12 Tom Brady. He just retired this, I believe, last season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Division III, Hobart University.
Hobart University.
Exactly, guys. I'm just saying, Taryn and I blow it up all the time because, it's a good time for a plug. But, 3 and Out College Edition coming up in August, by the way. Oh, yeah, we don't just talk about the Power 5 and all that good stuff. No. FCS, Division II, NAIA, Division III, the NJCAA, the 3C2A. Talent is everywhere, you guys. And like Dion, one of my idols, guys, like how Dion says, if you ball, you will get the call. And that's all there is to it, y'all. So, with that said, Adrian, we got about 8 minutes left here, man. So let's go ahead. We got a couple segments to get through rapid fire. So, really quick, this year, it looks like you guys, if I'm not mistaken, looking at the schedule here on ESPN.com, you guys, of course, have the NFC West. But it seems to me you are taking on as well the AFC West, it looks like this year, as well as the NFC South, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like here you guys got the NFC South. Yeah, I see all the teams. So AFC West, NFC South action. A couple outliers here, or a couple randoms, I guess you can call it, or whatever, who aren't involved in either of those conferences. I believe we have here, let's take a look, Carolina. No, they're in here. So who are the randoms? Yeah. So Buffalo is a random, like miscellaneous, I believe.
That's week 1, baby.
Yep, that's week number 1. And if I'm not mistaken, let me take
Green Bay found their way to us again.
Oh, there they are.
Green Bay.
Yep.
Green Bay has found their way to us as a random. Buffalo has found their way to us as a random. Dallas has found their way to us as a random.
Yes.
So, yeah, man, really you're seeing the champions of the divisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's who we're going to end up playing. And that's what happens, right? When you win the hardware, not only do you get a first-place schedule, you get the first-place schedule, right? This is the toughest schedule in all of football, at least on paper, right? Because we don't know how any of these teams are going to shake out. Ideally, you think all these teams are going to be tough, but we'll see what the version of their 2022-23 season of these teams looks like. But as it stands right now, this is the toughest schedule in football. We're going to be playing the now toughest division in football, and I don't have a problem saying that because the NFC West has held that moniker for, I would say, at least the last 3-4 years. I don't see how you could argue that the AFC West is now not the toughest division in football, looking at how those teams are stacked, how they're built, the just insane amount of talent at every single level on every single team. There's coaches that, have some seniority that are tenured there. Then there's some new coaches to get excited about that, have some pedigree in the league, right? Because this is their first time being head coaches. A lot of offensive-driven facilities. We've got familiar names and faces and new places. Russell Wilson, we get to see him again this year, but this time in the blue and orange instead of the blue and green. Man, it's going to be a challenge this year. And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. My stress level is already going through the roof. But if you're going to contend for another title, and if you want to make a statement, what better way to do that than the already Super Bowl favorite Buffalo Bills in Week 1, right? A chance for us to kind of show Von Miller and at least make the statement like, hey, you chose poorly, buddy. And kind of let them know that if you guys want the Super Bowl, you're going to have to come and meet us again in Arizona later in the year. So I love the fact that we're starting off with Buffalo. It could go either way, right? We both know that Buffalo, even Josh Allen, right, last year, he wasn't really the Josh Allen until about Week 6. That was a rough and tumble team, and we know that the Rams don't play anybody in preseason. They don't play any starters and stuff in preseason, so we won't be who we're going to be Week 1. So challenge right out the gate. It's always going to be a battle with Arizona and San Francisco coming on back-to-back in Week 3 and 4. Dallas really has something to prove this year. I think Mike McCarthy knows that he's out of here, especially with Sean Payton, whisper, I want to come back and I want to coach next year. You don't think that Jerry Jones will dump Mike McCarthy for Sean Payton in a heartbeat? He knows he's got something to prove. Carolina, who knows what they're doing. Then we get the Week 7 bye. San Francisco, again, like I said, regardless of how much I hate them, that's a tough thing, especially for us coming right off the bye. We're going
at home against San Francisco. Then we're flying across country to go see TB12 again in Tampa. We thought that we had retired him. He said, no, I can't stand my kids. I'm coming back for one more round. And then Arizona in week 10. New Orleans Saints, who knows what they're going to shake out to be. Kansas City, Pat Mahomes will be Pat Mahomes by that time. Andy Reid, you can't sleep on these guys. They revamped their entire secondary. The amount of weapons that they have on that offense continues to be insane. I think there's a lot of names that people are not expecting to do well. Like, what's the guy's name? I think from Clemson. I think he's Clemson or Georgia. He's one of these receivers that was prominent. I need to go back and look. But either way, he had like back surgery, and he went undrafted, but he was prolific in college. I think he's going to be a weapon for Patrick Mahomes, and I think that team is going to be just fine, minus Tyreek Hill. Seattle, I mean, it's a divisional game, so I have to respect it, but I'd be lying to you if I said I was remotely afraid of that team. The Raiders, I think, are poised to really surprise a lot of people. I know everybody's picking the Chargers to win that division, or they're picking, the Broncos or the Chiefs, but I think people done forgot about the Raiders, and Derek Carr is going to shut some people up. I'm sick and tired of people treating Derek Carr like he's number 20 out of 32 for quarterbacks when he's actually probably closer to 10 or 12. Darren Waller is the third best tight end. You could make an argument that he's the second best tight end in the league. Devontae Adams, right? And you say, oh, well, is Devontae going to be Devontae without Aaron? I think so. People forget Derek and Devontae played together at Fresno State in college.
Sure
so it's not like there's no chemistry and there's no history there, man. I think we're going to see the best version of Derek, and I think we're going to see a different kind of Devontae. Bringing Chandler Jones over from Arizona to pair with Max Crosby, that's going to be something special. That secondary I'm still kind of worried about, but you know what? I like the direction that this organization, that the Raiders are taking. I love what Josh McDaniels is doing. I think that team is going to be a team that's playing legitimate football come January. And then the Packers, right? I know there's no weapons there. As long as Aaron Rodgers is there, man, that's a threat. The Broncos, like I said, Russell Wilson. They got Nathaniel Hackett, offensively driven. I like that young running back that they got, Javonte Williams. You got to respect Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler over there. These guys know what they're doing. And then, like I said, the Chargers, I like to call them the Renters. They still think that somehow that there's a battle for LA, but last time I checked, there's going to be a Rams banner in SoFi, not a Chargers banner, so the war is over. We won. Until the Chargers do something to prove that they are more than what they've been historically, I'm not worried about them. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to close out the season with the Seattle Seahawks, man. And like I said, I would hope that by that time it's going to be a layup, but you and I both know division rivalry, week 18, nothing's going to come easy for us.
Hey, man, it's going to be some fun. So, with that said, we're going to end this always in a fun way, brother. By the way, we just got news right now. I had just spoken to Gina G. Unfortunately, she's just right now in a tougher place, and she was going to actually do the interview, but I think as of right now, she's just like, gonna pull the plug on that. So, for those of you who heard us earlier saying that, my apologies. We're going to go ahead and replace her with another Niner fan, so you'll hear another Niner fan a couple segments ago on the live show. But as Adrian said earlier, and myself as well, our thoughts and prayers with the Gina G, and all the best to you this coming up in all the best to your Niners coming up this season, and of course all the best to you and your family as we pray for you and your family in this tough time. So with that said, y'all, let's go ahead and end this thing on a fiery note, man. Edwin, give it to us, brother. You have 3 other teams in there. I know you already kind of spoke on some of them, but, this is always a fun segment. You get to speak on those other 3 teams, and you could be respectful. You could be mean and ugly, or you could be a combination of both, however you want to do it. But you have 2 minutes on the clock, and, let us know how you feel about those other 3 teams in the NFC West and how you think they're going to do this season. The other fans already let everyone know how they feel about your Rams. So, whatever you wish to say is what it is. With that said, Adrian, stick it to him.
Hey, look, man, y'all guys can say whatever you want to say about my Rams. Just make sure you put Super Bowl champion in front of them when you talk about them. Seattle, they're going to finish bottom of the division. They don't have a quarterback. They got 5,000 running backs. Pete Carroll, the way that the league has progressed, he needs to get with the times, and I don't see that happening, especially with the conflict of ownership. Who's going to end up owning this team? What direction are they taking them? This is a rebuild year for them. So they're going to finish bottom of the division. Finishing in second place is going to be the Arizona Cardinals, right? Give respect where respect is due. Arizona came out fiery, but just like Arizona has done every single year under Cliff Kingsbury with Kyler Murray at the helm, they come out fast and hot, and then towards the back half, Kyler starts getting dinged and injured, and he's playing through those injuries. You got to give respect to him. He doesn't go out often, but he doesn't have the mobility that he typically does, and by that time, he's pretty shell-shocked, and he doesn't like throwing down the field too much. I think you saw that in the wild card round of the playoffs this season. I expect this season to kind of trend most the same way. They didn't really do too much defensively. They went and got more offensive weapons, added Hollywood Brown, right? But how many different receivers do you need to throw to and still end up losing, man? So this is a team that's going to be playing, well into the middle of the season, being good. There's going to be lots of talk about them being a potential Super Bowl contender. Kyler Murray, I expect, is going to get MVP consideration again until he reverts back to Kyler Murray, until Cliff Kingsbury becomes who Cliff Kingsbury is. Like, we just know what you guys look like at the second half of the season. So second place for them. In third place, I got the San Francisco 49ers, and I would like to put them way, 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 way down in the dirt. But we thought this team was dead in the water last year early because that record through the first 6 weeks was awful, right? And then they got their get-right game against the Rams, and they started rattling off wins, right? But this year is a new era. And I've been told by several 49er fans that Trey Lance is it, man. He's the second coming, right? Jimmy G's out the door. In Trey we trust. And all I got to ask for the 49ers fans that are so high on Trey Lance is, if Trey was so good and your team was really as confident in him as they claim to be, why in God's name would you go into a playoff situation, an NFC championship game with the Super Bowl on the line, with a quarterback that is injured on his throwing thumb, injured on his throwing shoulder? If you really got the guy and he is who you say he is, why wouldn't you put that guy in and let him take you to glory? I mean, you say, oh, well, he's a rookie. Well, we've seen a similar situation when Alex Smith was the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. He wasn't getting it done. And I think you'll remember there was a young Colin Kaepernick that came in during that stretch and brought them to the promised land, got them to the Super Bowl. Now, look, they ultimately lost to Big Brother Harbaugh. But I'm just saying, if you feel like Trey Lance is your guy, why not let him be your guy? So we'll see how that plays out. I want to give respect to them because, like I said, when it comes to the regular season, they own us, but we win the games that matter. In first place, your Super Bowl champion, Los Angeles Rams. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot tougher than it was for us this season. This team is going to have to continue to evolve, but I think Matt Stafford with Sean McVay for the second year, Stafford himself has said, hey, I didn't know anything about this offense last season. Now I know so much. I think that chemistry with Cooper Kupp is there. I think you add a new wrinkle in there with Allen Robinson. Defense is going to be new look. Obviously, it's going to be led by Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey in the back. And I think Jalen's got a lot to prove because he hears all the chatter from the Super Bowl performance. And Bobby Wagner is going to show you guys that he's not finished yet. And then we got a bunch of young guys that are hungry to make a name for themselves, not only on this team, but make a name for themselves in this league. Some of these guys are up for paydays. So we're going to see what happens when it's all said and done. I'm going to say it here because I just feel it's appropriate. My first ever appearance on IE Sports Network was the divisions in 8 days for the NFC West, representing my Rams. At the time, we were coming off the back of Buccaneers performance, and there was a gentleman that had gone on before me that said the Bucs would repeat, and I told him, no, that's not going to happen because we're going to beat you guys week 3. That came true. Also, Larry, I have you know, on this exact same show last year, I said that the Rams would be winning the Super Bowl. The champions were already in residence at SoFi. As we all know, that played out exactly how I said it would play out, and I'm going to make a very similar prediction this year. Buffalo, can't wait to see you guys in Arizona come February, but at the end of the day, Vaughn, you're just going to have to go away sad, baby, because you could have had that third ring with the Rams, but instead you're going to walk away empty-handed, Super Bowl champion. champion Los Angeles Rams 22-23 season.
Man, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Adrian just went in, man. I couldn't even stop at the 2-minute mark, man. He just went off. That was incredible. What a segment. That is how you end off this show. My goodness, what a great segment. Thanks again, man. And that's right. My apologies. I did say earlier, I forgot if it was 8 divisions, but it was 8 divisions, 8 days last year. You were on the actual 3 and out primetime face-off as well. I mean, like I said, man, you've been around. We appreciate you so much for stopping by this morning, man. And it has been awesome from start to finish, brother. So let's go ahead and send you off, right? Let us know, man, where can all these diehards find you, man, on Twitter, any other social media you want to plug? I know you said you were a gamer. You're trying to catch that game fade with somebody. I mean, throw your gamer tag out. Whatever you want to throw out there, brother, where can these diehard Ram fans find you?
Look, man, the most important thing is you guys can find me on Twitter. You can find me at ACDAGDB. That's AC to GDB. I'm the cartoon guy that's got the Rams hat on. You might notice that I got 50,000 jerseys, and I'm continuing to purchase more jerseys. You can catch me. You can catch me a couple times a week on a podcast with my brothers, Doug Smith, Mike Williams, Isaac Davidson, the touchdown with Doug Smith. Doug's been kind of spearheading that as we've been in this slower period. I've been on hiatus getting a few things, but we're just ramping up for the next season, man. So can't wait for you guys to tune in. I'm sure you guys will catch me here on IE Sports Network throughout the course of the season. But, pop through, say what's up on my Twitter. Come through, talk some trash. Just be prepared to own what you say.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. Hey, Adrian, once again, man, thank you so much. Please go check out that podcast. Please show him some love because this man deserves all of it. True diehard, man. I'm telling you. That's what I'm talking about. Great stuff as always. Thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate the time and couldn't thank you enough for this. All the best to your Rams this year, and, well, they're going to look a lot like the Rams because, well, as we know, they're champions, and I think they're ready to give that crown away, so they're going to be fighting. So I'm really excited for this season to see these guys fight to retain that title. So with that said, brother, thanks again for being here today, man. We appreciate the heck out of you, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, we'll be contacting you soon to get you back up on here for a primetime face-off or just some football talk, man. We'll be getting you back on the show soon, brother.
Hey, I appreciate you, Larry. I appreciate all of IE Sports Networks, and like I said at the beginning, man, Gina, prayers up for you, your family, for your pops. You guys stay strong, and we'll get up with you when we get up with you.
Hey, brother, appreciate you for saying that. I know Gina certainly appreciates that. And, hey, man, thanks again for everything. So, with that said, brother, have a great rest of your day, man. God bless you and your family. Have a wonderful week. And, hey, we'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, man. Be blessed, bro.
All right, take care, brother. All right. All right, y'all. That was Adrian, man. Great dude, amazing dude, man. So that was a long interview, but hey, it was worth every bit of it. Glad to have him here. And, well, that's going to do it for this show. Show number 1 in the books. But never fear, I'll be back for my speedy final weigh-in of who I think is going to win this division in 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty much, first to fourth place, let you know what I think. So, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. You were listening to 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, NFC West Day. Of course, day number 1 of 8 divisions in 8 days. Right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
What's up, sports fans? Are you looking for the latest on Northern California sports? Then take a trip out west with me, your host, Gina G, on Reppin' the NorCal Sports, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'll be bringing it to you all the way live every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And it's always a packed show. I'll bring you everything Dynastic 49ers, the bite of the San Jose Sharks, torture of the San Francisco Giants, the Golden State Warriors that we still believe. Then take you across the bay to the rise and grind of the Oakland A's. I've got you covered on college ball from the Cal Bears to the Stanford Cardinal, so that no matter what, reppin' a NorCal sports is always reppin' the Bay. So if you bleed red and gold, or you're looking to keep an eye out west in them thar hills, don't miss me, Gina G, on reppin' a NorCal sports. Catch me every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I'll have your fandom repped harder than a trio of defenders guarding Stephen Curry before his buzzer beater is Gucci.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Harrison Glazer, and we're coming at you from the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. I cover the Jets, the Islanders, the Nets, and the Yankees.
This is Pierre Moss, and I cover the Mets, Knicks, Rangers, and the Giants.
Our show is live every Wednesday through Spreaker and a bunch of other ways to get our content. Again, we're the Show That Never Sleeps podcast. We talk about all those New York sports. It's a lot of fun. We get into all of it. Please tune in. Again, that's Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
And we look forward to having you guys right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
College football, and do you want to hear a college football show dedicated to all that is college football, including junior college and the CCCAA and the NJCAA, the NAIA, and the NCAA, including Division III, Division II, Division I AA in the FCS, and Division I Single A in the FBS. Well then, look no further. Join myself, Larry B., and my colleagues, Mr. H-Town Blake Henley, and Mr. Christian Espinoza, each week during the college football season for the latest in college football on 3 and Out College Edition, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's happening, sports fans? Are you a fan of Southern California sports? Are you looking for a show hotter than a hot summer day in California? Then look no further than the SoCal Supreme Sports Show, where I talk about all things Southern California sports. That's right, all sports teams from Southern California. From the hard-hitting tackles of the NFL, to the killer crossovers and big three-pointers of the NBA and WNBA, to the grand slams of the MLB, to the bone-chilling goals of the NHL, and to the booming kicks of the MLS, the SoCal Supreme Sports Show has it all for you. Oh, and let us not forget about the college sports as well. So join me, Taryn Rodriguez, every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen, football fans all over the world. You don't want to miss it, because it's going to be a ball. What a show, and let me just say thank you to all of our awesome guests here this past weekend to make this show possible. Thank you, and huge shout out to Mr. Scott, Miss Jess, Mr. Art, and Mr. Adrian. Man, how about them stick it to 'em segments? We're getting everybody riled up. We're going to get to all that right now. Taryn had a big old thing to say here in the chat room. Scotty, man, he went off in the band chat room, the IE Sports Radio band chat room, where we speak as a as a team. Man, even Adam Karnick had something to say about Allen Robinson. But awesome stuff, you guys. Certainly got to tell you, this has been quite the show, and I can't wait for tomorrow. NFC East Day, we'll be talking Cash and Chris for Philadelphia. That's going to be awesome. Mr. Mike Pat joining us for the Commanders. It's a great show tomorrow, so stay tuned. If you like what you heard today, you definitely want to tune in for tomorrow. What a day it was. So, with that said, awesome stuff, and well, it's time to get to my final weigh-in. And of course, well, actually, before we do that, I want to give you guys how it's going to look for 3 and Out this year. So I know that drop you just heard is way outdated, way outdated. Like, seriously, it's super duper outdated, and I got to stop saying outdated. But it's an oldie, so I got to remake that thing. But the new 3 and Out will go as follows. You will have 8 divisions in 8 days. Once again, as I told you already, today the 18th, all the way through Thursday the 21st. Next week, we'll hit AFC week, July 25th through the 28th. then we will hit over to the preseason. Now, the preseason will not be really anything at all. Taryn and I will be doing College Edition. That is going to pick up. So after the 28th, the next show you're going to get is on September 6th, okay? But we also have the update on College Edition. Taryn and I will get our season premiere on August 20th. And as you know, college kickoff is on the 27th, so we'll get the previews and all that good stuff on Saturday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, August 20th. And then, of course, every Saturday from then on, we'll be live at 7 in the morning, a.m. Pacific, once again, 10 a.m. Eastern. Then we will roll on over. Oh, well, that'll be every Saturday. Okay, as for 3 and Out, after July 28th, we'll take the preseason off, and I will see you guys at the new regular time. Get ready for this. Tuesdays at 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Okay, is that not crazy or what? That's something new. We haven't had that before. As I've said before, I am taking on a lot right now. I am a resident sub right now at the high school that I'm coaching football at, varsity football. I am taking care of a few seminar classes, petitioning for my CSETs right now, so I don't have to take them. It's just a lot going on right now with that. Coaching varsity football is like almost a full-time job along with working. I'm running the station. I got this show to do. I am picking up the defining moment again on Sundays. I have meetings for varsity football on Sundays. I am also playing again this year for the Warriors. We'll to be continuing on that and trying to figure out like everything with practice and all that. Hopefully I can play this year. But we got that going on. My beautiful wife Cecilia, she'll be working, and she's got school as well. You know, she's getting on through her BA. So there's so many things we got going on at once, you guys. That literally the only time I can do like 3 and Out to recap last week, give you the preview this week, because a full-on hour of me talking NFL is going to be Tuesday mornings at 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, right after I get home from the gym. It's going to be wake up, go to the gym from 5 to 6, come home, shower up, get ready for work, and then boom, that's it. The show begins 6:30, 7:30, and then I'm off to work after that. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be chaotic. My beautiful wife Cecilia will be getting ready for work, making our lunches. I mean, all these things going on. She's amazing. Awesome, world's best wife. So I'm telling you, she does a lot. I do my best, and that's the only time I can fit this show in. So get ready. Yeah, exactly. Adam says in the chat room here, wake up to football talk. I like it. Yeah, I'll be on some people's drive to work, you guys, and some people are early in the office, depending on where you are in the country. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And then, of course, the primetime face-offs will go as follows. There will be a primetime face-off, all right? Wednesdays, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. That will be for Thursday night on Wednesday nights. On Saturday mornings will be the double dose. Taryn and I will be live from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Pacific. And then the primetime face-offs will follow 8:15 a.m. Pacific to 8:35, only 20 minutes. a.m. Pacific, and then right after that one, 8:40 a.m. Pacific to 9 a.m. Pacific. Okay, the first one will be for Sunday night, the next one will be for Monday night. That is literally all the time we have. Cecilia and I are trying to get the Sports Cup perspectives back on Saturdays. Of course, I'll be playing on Saturdays as well. So we're just trying to fit everything together. But as of right now, that's pretty much the schedule. So one primetime face-off on Wednesday evenings. That's for Thursday Night Football. And then after Taryn and I are off air for College Edition, I'll be doing 2 primetime face-offs Saturday morning. Pretty much, well, not pretty much, during Mr. Aaron X, while he's on for the Crossroads pod, of course, I'll be on StreamYard as he's on Spreaker. So yeah, crazy schedule, I know, but that's how we're going to get it, you guys. So with that said, big ups And thank you to everybody. My final weigh-in goes a little something like this. Overall, I want to say the Cardinals are going to pop out of nowhere and win the division. Why am I saying that? Because over a decade ago, on my birthday, February 1st, in 2009, I watched the Cardinals do something incredible. Larry Fitzgerald breaks away, rolls into the end zone. It was awesome seeing the Cardinals almost win it. However, Ben Roethlisberger to Santonio Holmes in the end zone. Well, yeah, guess what? It was a touchdown for the Ages, and the Steelers would win it. I was heartbroken for the Cardinals. I mean, the Steelers have so many dang bowls, and hey, nothing taken away from them. But I'm just saying, the Cardinals, man, I was cheering for them. And ever since then, I've been like low-key a Cardinal fan. Like, I've been wanting them to win. So I would love to say they're going to win the division this year, but I just don't know if they have the firepower. The Rams honestly have a chance to repeat. They really do. I want to be able to say it's going to be, a nice competitive year throughout the entire division, and it will be for the most part. But personally, I just don't see it being, a super tight group. We're going to have, of course, the bottom feeder. We all know how it goes, right? But I want to say it's going to be back and forth action, but you'll see where I go with this. So I have the Rams being a 15-2 to 13-4 team. It's almost impossible to just have them derail so bad for them to fall back to third place for sure. Or, second place could be because the Niners are right on their tail. But I do feel that right now this team is just too hot. They're too good. And I do think they have a very tough schedule, as you heard Adrian talking about in our interview. And overall, you guys, I just think the Rams have what it takes to be a 15-2 or maybe 14-3 to a 13-4 team. After them, the 49ers have built a team to be very good. I think as of right now, they have Deebo Samuel now. That defense is getting better. Offensive line looks pretty solid. I really do think they made some great moves in the draft. No Mostert's going to hurt, but you know what? I think they have everything they need. They could really be a 14-3 to 13-4 team. I see them right between there. I think they can make it happen. They really do have the capacity to make this realistic. The Niners could if the Rams fall off, man, the Niners are right there. And the Niners could actually overthrow the Rams, in my opinion. But it has to be the perfect storm. They have to stick it to them the way they did last year. I think they went 1-1 when they beat them. So overall, it's a very, very, very good chance that the Niners can be right on the Rams' tail or possibly even overthrow them. All right, after that, we have here Bird City football. Terrence said it was lame. He didn't like it very much. Hashtag Bird City football. But the Cardinals, I have them between 12-5 and 10-7. It's easy to say that they'll be, I think, a double-digit team this year. Regardless, having them be a single-digit victory team just doesn't sit well with me. I think they're going to be solid again. They may just make the playoffs as well, depending on how the other divisions do. But I think all these three teams could actually I think they all are actually playoff caliber teams. And that's really what I have for them. And then the Seahawks, I want them to be a double-digit team. I think they can be a double-digit team if they, beat everybody else outside of their division to possibly be 10-7. That would be amazing to see that happen. These four teams go that high. But I also have them as low as 7-10 like last season, and it's a possibility they probably will be between 9-8 to 7-10. But man, wouldn't it be something to see all four of these teams be double digits? So that is my final weigh-in. I just posted it up right now on the 3 and Out Twitter, and there you have it, you guys. So, with that said, this has been a fun show. Not over yet, though. I want to take a look earlier. Taryn says here, my stick it to him as a Rams fan. The Seahawks have no QB and are going to be bottom dwellers in the NFC. Have fun trying to experiment with Geno Smith and Drew Lock. The Cardinals are going to start hot and in typical Cardinals fashion, they're going to lose when they're supposed to win. Kyler Murray can't carry the Cardinals on that tiny back of his. Damn. And the Niners are going to poop the bed in the biggest moments of the season, whether they make the playoffs or not. Also, just like last year, Niners will not make the Super Bowl. Stop buying into the Niners hype. It's all show and no go. My goodness. Taryn also put his final standings in here. I saw his earlier, and I agreed wholeheartedly. Rams, Niners, Cardinals, Seahawks, I agree. Earlier, Adam Karnick said here, A-Rob is amazing, and who dares to say Allen Robinson is washed up? So, yeah, man, just great stuff in the chat all day long. Actually, I want to read, too, what Scott said here. He says, let me help you out, Art, telling Art in our chat room. He says, for IE Sports Radio, other than Kyler Murray, here are some guys you should probably know on the Cardinals. Zach Ertz, DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood Brown, James Conner, AJ Green, JJ Watt, Saban Collins, Isaiah Simmons, Budda Baker, Jalen Thompson, Byron Murphy, Marco Wilson, and an exceptional rookies in Trey McBride and Cameron Thompson. I won't even bring up the O-line. Not sure Seattle knows what no-line is. Oh, man, I love it. He has a little smirk emoji with a little, peace sign, so I loved it. Great stuff, you guys. It was a great show, and, man, I am so glad we're able to have it here today. With that said, you guys, that's going to pretty much end it off, but, man, it has been great, and we have ourselves another one of these coming up tomorrow, and another one after that, and another one after that, and then 4 more next week. It is going to be great. I'm so glad all of you were able to join me here today, and I'll tell you right now, it was a great show from start to finish. So, with that said, you guys, my goodness, there's my final weigh-in. There is a new 3-and-out schedule for everybody who wants to know, and the primetime face-offs as well. This is going to be another great season. The NFL never disappoints, and I'm super excited for what we got to come. So, coming right up after me, we have Mr. Adam Karnick doing a short show, taking one for the team. Spreaker had a mishap today. I'm glad they were able to fix it. I was a little mad, but my bad, you guys are getting all crazy. At least in my own head. And I'm glad it was able to be fixed. It's supposed to go on this morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, but didn't happen until 2:20 Pacific. Tomorrow will be 10 a.m. Pacific, all right? So we'll be back on schedule tomorrow. With that said, you guys, man, I had a great time today. I hope all of you had a great time today because, it was a great show. Good times as always. There's only one thing left to do, y'all. And that's cue the music, because we're out of here. Alrighty, you guys. That was a fun one. I want to go ahead and mention our 3-and-out poll here. And looks like from this last poll that went up 24 hours ago, or actually a little longer than that now, 52% of you are taking the Niners, 33% of you are taking the Rams, 12% of you are taking the Seahawks, and 3% of you are taking the Cardinals. So, looks like Twitter has it Niners, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. Well, that's different than mine, but thank you guys for voting. The new poll is up for the NFC East. We'll let you know that one tomorrow. Thank you all so very much. It was a lot of fun. Stick It To 'Em was amazing as always. I'll be posting those all over the place using Headline. Just so many great things. So I'll tell you what, we couldn't appreciate you guys more. Thank you so much. And thank you all. Thank you to all of our guests once again. Mr. Scott, Miss Jess, Mr. Art, and Mr. Adrian. Awesome stuff, and we really appreciate every one of you for all of your support. You guys are amazing. Adam says lots of Cubs and White Sox on tap for tonight. There we go. I'm getting ready for that coming up. With Chi-Town Weekly coming up with Adam Karnick. He'll be going live right now. Coming up for only 40 minutes, and then Taryn got an awesome guest lined up for tonight on Set Point, so lots of great stuff. And Taryn wants everybody to know that the poll is rigged because Gina has thousands of Niner fans voting. But it's all good. He says, but I guess you can dream if you dare. Or if I guess you can dream if you're a Niners fan. So, hey, thank you all so much. And you guys are amazing in the chat room today. Just got to say, it was a great one. And once again, mad love and appreciation to all of you. It was a long 3 hours, but boy, it was fun. All right, you guys, that's going to do it. Stay tuned. Coming up right after me, right here on IE Sports Radio, we have Chi-Town Weekly with Adam Karnick, followed by Set Point with Tara Rodriguez. This is me, your boy Larry B, signing off. I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern for the second day of 3 and Out 8 Division 8 days as we talk NFC East on NFC Week, day 2 of NFC Week. With that said, y'all, once again, this is me, your boy Larry B, signing off. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Until then, take care, and as always, God bless.